Then I will tag y'all in this.
Oh, you don't like the sign behind you?
We normally do, but it's been acting crazy lately. So I might have to figure it out. It's just messed up for the first time last week.
Yeah.
So it's like, well, it is what it is.
Yeah, but they know what it
Remy,
is.
you used to have a black light in your room, didn't you?
Did I used to have a black light in my room?
You got a lot of them. I'm just assuming
That
you had a black
sound
light
like
in
some
your
shit
room.
I would do, actually. That sound like some shit I would do.
I had one too. I had a big Wu sign. I had a big Wu-Tang thing on my ceiling.
Yeah. Nice. No, I don't think I was that cool. I don't think I was that cool.
Black
I like
showing all that dirt, right?
Oh, with the black light? Yeah. You can't masturbate in the room or nothing with that
I didn't have that
motherfucker.
problem. I'm sorry, but
That's funny.
Like, you better have
Clean
some
sheets all the time.
clean, boy.
Clean your sheets every day.
You couldn't bring the women's over, man. It has like just debris everywhere.
Yeah.
That's not
No
gonna
black
work.
Fix all the dirt.
Was that a thing though? How many people had black lights?
Hellas.
Everyone had black lights.
Bruh, a lot of people have black lights.
Yeah,
It's in the 90s, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Exactly.
Yeah, so that's what it looks like on Facebook. So it looks good. Cool. Straight. We don't look too light skinned on that.
Yeah. You turned down the hue a little bit. So we were gleaming in here.
See, now y'all see why I wear the hat. See, I got a little shade.
Yeah.
The darkest one in the room.
Which I ain't never heard of before.
Yeah.
This
Never.
motherfucker fresh off 2 vacations, bronzing up every time I see him.
Every time I go to vacation, I
You
come
gonna
back a little bit
You
darker.
gonna be dark skinned by next
I'm gonna
month.
be the color of that shirt, bro. Which is impossible.
Don't get ahead of yourself.
My mom is, well, we believe my mom's father, we don't really know because she was adopted, is Italian. And to my DNA, we got like, my mom's super light skinned. And so it's like, yeah, it is what it is. Method heads, man. As y'all come on in here, y'all know what we do. We give about 5 minutes for you to grab your drink. If you're smoking on something, grab that too. If you're doing the edible, whatever you do, get it. For the next hour and a half, 90 minutes, we're going to be having a good conversation about roughly. It's always difficult because the more people you have, the more opinions you have, the more people want to talk. So sometimes it runs a little bit longer.
Yeah, we're going to hit that 2-hour mark, I guarantee.
So we're going to
You
try.
should have one guy that has the cutoff point controls the cutoff point.
I'm trying. I try. That's me.
He's the guy for that.
That's
me.
But see, I am chaos. So if I got something to say, I'm gonna motherfucking say it. You know what I'm saying? And if y'all got something to say, you should say it. Say the things that you need to say.
Everybody in here yelling, I guess. Just talking about it.
Well, no, not that. It's a controlled space. No verbal violence here. Everybody. But yeah, but get your shit off. By all means, get your shit off.
Get your take off.
Yes.
The key to great podcasting, man, is being able to get your opinion off in a quick way, relatable way. Don't just ramble, and then pass the mic, as they say, to someone else.
Just have something to say. Like, don't be talking just to be talking. Like, lead it to a point. So me, sometimes I'll like, if my brain is doing too much during the conversation, I'll fall off. Like, I'll fall all the way off, and I'll be like, what was we talking about? What was the question? So I try not to do that, and Jay is good at stopping me from doing that. So how we a team?
Trying to get these shares out.
So what's good, y'all? We live. Everybody pop in. Let us know how y'all doing. It's beautiful Wednesday. We do a Method podcast every Wednesday if you're coming through for the first time. And Jay just coming back from vacation. We got 2 black doctors in the building. What's up, gentlemen?
I'm excited to have y'all on, man. I really am.
Gonna go live in a few minutes.
We don't like doing topics like this without some type of
someone who's
person, and to know the knowledge just to talk about it. You don't want a bunch of people up here with no opinion, random opinion, talking about shit they don't know. You know what I mean?
We got questions. We don't know the answers, so we gonna ask them. We're gonna talk about it.
So it's definitely appreciate y'all hopping on here with us. What up, Gabby? Thanks for joining early. What is Gabby? She's in the medical industry, right?
Yeah.
I feel like I met her before, seen her before.
She's been on the podcast before, but I don't know.
She ever been in any of the whiteness events like ever?
I don't think so.
No. What's up, Gabby? How you feeling today? She was telling me about DeSantis announcing his presidency
Good Lord.
or his run for presidency, his attempt.
Boy, it's gonna be
Yeah, I don't think it's
crazy.
gonna be such a successful attempt.
Yeah.
I hope not. You think Trump gonna win it?
Yes,
Yeah.
absolutely.
See, this guy.
Mm.
So when he first ran, right, he was like, "Nah, Trump's gonna win," and I was doomsaying like the entire primaries. I'm like, he's gonna win this shit.
Mm-hmm.
He's like, nah. Now he's fully back. Now he's fully around.
Right.
And like,
Right.
yeah.
And also, but the second time when he ran, you were like, Trump's going to win again. And he did.
He
So,
didn't.
We both 50.
Well, because I didn't
We
think
smart enough.
Biden
That's
really
fine.
had the gum.
We're both 50.
So we 1-1 now. So this,
1-1.
This is the runoff.
And I'm good. I'm done playing with you.
This is the runoff.
I'm done playing with you.
Yeah. Hey man, let's do a podcast.
Let's do a motherfucking podcast.
Take a seat and put your feet up. We gon' meet up. Sit with me and sip some tea with Remy Mulatto. Give me bottles of Hennessy and Moscato. They had enough already, but there's plenty to follow. I stay poetic, but Jay Noetic, remaining effective. Conversation getting heavy, staying respected, playing the record, maintaining collective. Saying what you think, it ain't no place for rejecting. I claim it and meant it. It's mostly everybody talking honestly over drinks. Tell me what you think. It's mostly everybody talking honestly over drinks. So tell me what you think. It's mostly everybody talking honestly over drinks. Tell me what you think. It's mostly everybody talking honestly over drinks. Tell me what you think. Tell me what you think.
Welcome to a Method Podcast. I'm Jay Noetic.
I'm Remy Mulatto.
Hey, this season that shit on our minds
And shit to talk.
and shit that needs to be said. And the best way for us to talk that shit
Is to have mostly everybody talking honestly over drinks.
And that's what we
And then
call
we cling to that.
a
And then we cling to that. Come on, everybody,
motherfucking
cling to
method.
that.
Clink. Hey man, we got some dope guests for the episode tonight, man. He is a highly trained, first guest is a highly trained physician with
Highly
extensive
trained.
experience who is board certified in physical medicine, rehabilitation, and fellowship trained in pain management. He received his undergraduate degree from Tennessee State University
Hey.
and then went on to Meharry Medical College for his doctorate of medicine degree.
HBCU.
That's
right?
right. From there, he completed a residency in physical and rehab medicine at William Beaumont
Yeah.
Hospital and followed that with fellowship in pain management. I'm talking about to my right, to your left, Dr. Jeff Jones. Say what's up.
Hey, what's going on, y'all?
Hit the you hit the
I
air
can't
horn.
hit it 'cause
Oh
we
yeah,
forget that's
ain't no air
lifestyle.
horns today.
Not today,
right.
but we appreciate
Goddamn.
you being here, man.
Happy to be here. Glad to be here.
Bow, bow, bow. And our second guest this week, man, joining us, he is a board certified emergency medicine physician, having done his residencies in pathology, internal medicine, and emergency medicine at St. Louis University Hospital. He attended Clark Atlanta University for undergraduate studies with a bachelor's degree in psychology and attended Meharry Medical College,
Hey.
where he studied public health and attained his medical doctorate.
Hey.
He has lived and practiced medicine in the greater Tampa Bay area for 5 years. I'm talking about Dr. Iman Spalding. What's up, man?
What up, though?
Hey, man, we appreciate y'all being
Wait,
on
did you
here,
say
man.
what up though?
He did
I
say
thought
what
you
up,
wasn't
though.
from Detroit.
He did say what up,
I got
though.
that from him. He
Oh,
say that
okay.
from here. That's what it
It's
is.
a lot of Detroit in the building.
Hey, if it's your first time tuning in to Method Podcast and you're watching this on YouTube or Spotify, what we need you to do is hit that subscribe button.
Act like you like us.
Turn on
Come
that
on now.
notification button so you can get notified when we drop a new episode. If you're watching this live in the comments on YouTube, Facebook, hey man,
Yeah, tell
stay
your-
in the comments,
tell your
comment,
friends
share,
about us,
like,
talk to us,
and join
know what's up.
us. So we're going to start this thing out with Method Move. Method Move basically tell us how your week feeling, man. How your week going? Good mood, bad mood, great mood. Anybody can start. I'll go first. I'll go first because, you know, I
know
did
Jay's
just get
doing
back from a
good.
podcast. I mean, a vacation.
Where'd you go?
I went to Mexico, Playa del Carmen, my first time going to Mexico. I'm sure you brothers
Hey.
been there multiple times, but you've never been to Mexico? No desire to go?
I'm gonna go. I just haven't.
Where do you want to go?
I actually want to go to Mexico City.
Mexico City.
Okay. What's in Mexico
It's a
City?
lot safer than it used to be, guys.
Violence.
I heard it's pretty. I heard it's very violent. Very violent.
There's certain places. My brother's been there multiple times to train people for what he does, and it was fun.
Okay.
I know
Okay.
a
So
guy
he,
who lives there now, expat. He's happy as hell.
right
I
on.
don't know. I'm gonna go to Mexico City, but I did go to Playa and had a great time. Man, was there for 4 days. Hit up the catamaran and a couple cenotes. It was a great experience, man. I won't say it's my favorite experience yet, but it was up there. I enjoyed it, so I'm having a great week. So I can't complain. How your week going, Jeff?
My week's going okay. Yeah, it's been raining a little bit, and I'm a tennis player, so a couple
Hey.
nights
That's
I want to
right.
get on the
No
court.
tennis
you
for
a
you.
tennis
It's
player.
been no go, but that's kind of this time of year. You might rain on and off for the next couple weeks. And
It's probably
Saturday.
dangerous to play tennis in the rain, huh?
you don't wanna do
you don't
that.
break your ankle.
Ooh.
Man,
You know?
Metalhead, I asked
Yeah, you don't want to do that.
So you pretty good then.
Yeah,
Listen,
I played in
quite
college.
listen,
Played in college.
I
You
asked a
good
man
as fuck.
to play tennis with me like a year last
Yeah,
year.
fuck
He was like, nah, I'm too good for you.
Nah,
nigga.
Yeah,
Like,
fuck.
I'm
I'm
not even gonna give you a
chance.
That
Not even
conversation
gonna give you a
lasted
chance.
about 12 hours
Yeah.
over the course of a day. That
Wow.
was it.
I know what he's talking about too. I played with somebody who just like played a little bit, and I was like, "Oh, we on different levels. I can't do this with you."
One of my, I never played tennis a day in my life, and the guy that taught me how to play tennis, he was pretty decent,
Mhm.
and of course he kicked my ass all the time playing.
Mm.
But I got better and better. I still can't beat him, but I got better.
Yeah.
So that's what's up. Yeah, the rain will kill tennis for sure. Iman, how you feeling, man? How's your week going?
It's all right, I guess. I got to train. I got to train Sunday and Monday. So that was good. That's indoor for me, so I don't have to worry about the rain.
We say
What do you
train.
train?
Yeah.
I do like fight training. Just stuff like
Okay.
that. You know,
Like
MMA stuff.
Any certain
MMA.
style?
Huh?
What kind of style is it? Is it like Taekwondo? Is it?
It's Wing Chun, Kung Fu, the stuff that Bruce Lee used to train.
Right on. Right on.
It's got a little bit of grappling ground mix defense in it too. So it's
How long
fun.
you been doing that?
Since 2017, summer 2017. Yeah, well, I've been doing it actually longer than that. But this particular thing, 2017.
Yeah.
But then
Impressive.
Yeah.
Impressive.
getting ready for a baby shower at the house, so we're moving things around the house, everything. So
You still having kids?
no,
Oh, I'm about
No.
to say, damn, bro.
it's for my girlfriend. It's for my girlfriend's daughter. It's not
Oh.
for- yeah.
I was like, bro, at some point you gotta cut that thing off. Remy, how you feeling, bro?
I'm doing all right. It's what is it, like almost the end of May?
Memorial Day next Monday, right?
That's
On Monday.
I'm very excited about that because I like being off as much as possible. Yeah, summer's almost here, so I'm doing all right.
That's
How
what's
you
up. I already said I'm doing.
All right.
Let's get into Method Movie. All right, so Method Movie, Method Heads, and I guess for you two, because you've never played before, I'm going to play a movie clip so that you won't be able to see it, you can only hear it. Your job is to try to guess what movie that is before Remy and before the Method Heads, and of course, before one another. All right? Method Heads, you want to try to guess it before the table. You can shout out whatever you want. I just recommend not giving too many hints away because other people will pick up on it and steal the victory.
Right.
All right. So they got me last week. They were able to figure it out. So I'm going to try to stomp this guy and see what I can
So
do.
it's just for him.
No, it's
Oh,
nobody. Everybody at the
everybody,
table.
yeah.
Everybody at the
Right,
table
everybody.
and people in the comments.
You got the right ones.
Yeah.
All right. What movie
Ghost Dad.
is this? Can you play? Oh, it's down here. Hold on.
Time to see Tracy. It's spring, so she's probably fighting with her man. Who you messing
I know what
with,
this is.
Wayne?
Don't guess.
I'm not gonna get mad. I'm not gonna yell. Just tell me who you messing with.
Yeah, I know
'Cause
exactly what this is.
you messing with somebody. So who?
Come on, comments. Who got it?
What are you talking about, girl? You tripping? I ain't
Did I
been-
just say
Boy.
it?
Yeah, what was it?
It's my baby boy.
How to be a player?
No, not How to Be a Player.
Wow, some perfume on me the other day. I done told you I was hugging my mother. Some of her perfume must have got all over
Maybe
my
I don't know what
shirts.
this is.
Yeah, I don't know
I
what this
know you
is.
lying, Dwayne. I know you lying because I found these drawers tucked underneath the couch today. So who?
With Bill Bellamy?
they belong to? 'Cause
I thought so too, but it's not with Bill Bellamy.
Sit your ass down
I'll give you a hint. I'll give y'all a hint.
It's not Ghost Dad.
It's not Ghost Dad. It had Vivica Fox in it.
Vivica Fox.
Yeah,
Oh,
one of those.
oh.
The other one with Jamie Foxx and Vivica Fox.
That's kind of what I was thinking.
I think I got him. No, it's not Girls Trip. It's not Girls
It's
Trip.
like this is.
It's not Booty Call?
It's two can play
Yeah,
that
It's
game.
not.
It's not Booty Call.
It's two can play that game.
Two can play that
Okay,
game.
I thought about that one too.
Two can play that game.
Okay, for your information.
All right, y'all struggled a little bit. You were close though.
The reason is that same actress is in How to Be a Player.
Yes. When I first heard this clip,
and she had a very similar interaction
Right.
in that
Yeah.
movie. That's why I thought.
yeah, I thought.
Yeah, I was waiting for Jamie Foxx to pop up,
Yeah.
but no.
So this is two can play that game. Came out in 2001, starring Vivica A. Fox, Morris Chestnut, Gabrielle Union, Monique, and Anthony Anderson. So, question,
Yeah.
fellas.
So that was kind of like the answer to How to Be a Player.
Mm-hmm. Has a woman ever tried to catch you with the panty trick in your adult history? So,
What's
so
the
basically, the panty trick in this clip is they said you find some panties that's not too big, not too skinny, so those are not yours, and you plant them somewhere in the house, and you pretend like you found them, and then you ask your man about the panties to see if he says whether or not there's someone else's or like, no, I don't know who that is,
Right.
or he lies
Just see
about
what
who.
happens.
Yeah, if he lies, saying like it's his sister or someone, then you know he
Then
cheating.
you know he cheating.
So has anyone ever tried that on y'all? That's old school.
Mm.
Yeah, no, I haven't. Never.
I'm the wrong guy to try that with
Why is
because I'm
that?
gonna lean in.
You gonna lean in?
Oh yeah, I'm gonna piss you off
You the hitter.
on purpose.
You the hitter.
I'm gonna piss you
I
off.
call it
Don't
a
do
hitter.
that to me.
That's
Don't,
my-
don't test me.
You're gonna be like,
because
no,
I'm
I got
upset
those
you.
straight from the strip club.
Yeah.
What you gonna do about it?
Yeah. You enjoy fighting. you
what it is.
He does.
enjoys the argument. He likes
I
the
just
likes the fun.
If
He
you
might be your
if you're gonna
twin.
bring, if
don't
you're
know
gonna
about
bring fake conflict to me, I'm gonna give you
Yeah.
real conflict. Don't do that.
So real quick, are you in a relationship?
Yeah.
Okay.
Girlfriend's right there.
Girlfriend, and you're married, right?
Absolutely.
Okay.
Yeah, I've never had anyone try that. I mean, I think we all try to play games a little bit or test to see, but not to that level, right? Like it's like, okay, I'm not gonna call her because I'm always calling first. Let me see if she's gonna call me back or text first. Little things like that. But you're gonna try some panties, like you said. I don't know if I'm gonna lean into it or not, but I'm gonna feel some kind of way about it.
Yeah, don't trick me. Especially if it works. Then I'm really pissed.
Yeah, well, if it
you
works,
trick
So
me,
if
that
it
means
works,
was
that
wrong
means you
Then
anyway.
I'm upset.
Right.
I'm be
Exactly.
upset if you trick me and it works.
That means you were doing some dirt. So IMDb only gave it a 6 out of 10. What did y'all think of that movie? Y'all remember seeing that movie Two Can Play That Game? I wasn't the biggest fan of it.
Not a fan.
Yeah.
Not a fan.
I feel like there were a lot of black movies that came out in a certain span of time that were just black movies. Like it was just pandering to the audience.
Oh,
not
yeah, yeah,
necessarily
yeah.
Of substance per se.
Mm.
So
Actually, I'm not even sure if I actually ever saw this one. Because during that time frame, like you said, it was a
Yeah, more
whole lot of
Chestnut,
yeah.
yeah.
I don't think that was. I
Don't
saw-
worry. No one was
Yeah.
still your black card because you didn't see this one.
Yeah,
Like,
I haven't
no,
seen
No.
no one. Let's see. So the budget was $13 million. How much do you think it made in 2001? The budget was $13 million. How much do you think it made?
I didn't see it in theaters, so I wouldn't even think that it made all this money back.
One and a half
Like
times that.
17 million.
1.5 times that.
What does that
Yeah,
mean?
so-
1.5
so ba-
times 13, whatever that is.
So 27 million, something like that.
Double that would be about 26.
Okay, so they made $22 million,
Mm.
Good.
which I would not expect it because I didn't think it was that great of a movie. So when I saw it was 22 million, I was like, damn, that's crazy.
Yeah.
So
But Vivica in like a starring role, I think that's a pretty good.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
And all
pretty
those
good
actors
formula.
are pretty hot at that time.
Right, true. Morris
Absolutely.
Chestnut. Yeah.
So, like,
All very
yeah,
attractive
folks are gonna
people.
go see
Right,
that. Like,
right. And it wasn't a bad movie. Like it was
Yeah.
entertaining. I watched it. I only watched it once. I wouldn't watch it again, but it was good for what it was.
to your point, so out of those actors I just named, who do y'all think has had the best career? So that was Vivica A. Fox, Morris Chestnut, Gabrielle Union, Monique, and Anthony Anderson.
That's hard to say because Anthony had a very successful TV show with Blackish and
Blackish
fairly
is-
recently.
Yeah.
Morris Chestnut's still been doing some things.
I'd say overall, I'd have to go with Anderson. Just
Yeah.
he's been consistent, been in movies, that's not necessarily starring. He was in one of those Transformers movies.
Yeah, he wasn't one of the
Yeah,
Transformers
like-
movies.
He's been consistently working the whole time.
Yeah.
So I was saying,
Yeah, I feel like Morris Chestnut has done a lot of B type roles, like nothing major
Except Best Man.
except Best Man.
Gabrielle Union fell off a little bit, but she was also in that movie as a woman named Alexis Spaulding, whatever. But like,
What movie was that?
and two can play that game.
Oh yeah.
She was like-
Yes.
Oh
correct.
yeah, she was.
how many
yeah.
times have you seen two?
I just remember her.
Okay, I'm just
What you mean? That's his
Last
favorite
name.
movie.
I'm like,
He watches it every summer.
My
He watches it
my
every
mother's
summer.
first name and my last name. I was like, I don't remember that. Like,
So a couple of quick nuggets of 2001 history. Apple iTunes was released in 2001. Of course, 9/11 happened in 2001. The anthrax attacks happened in 2001. And Dale Earnhardt died in 2001.
Wild ass year.
Crazy. So really quick, man, before we get into the method message, we're going to do just a quick interview with these two gentlemen to my right, to y'all left, because we do want to learn more about them in as quick time as possible. So my first question for both of you, where are y'all from and how did you ended up here in Tampa, Florida?
I'll go first.
you go.
All right, I'm originally from Detroit, Michigan.
Hey.
I got here just pretty much job stuff. I did my undergrad and my med school in Tennessee. Went back to Detroit for 4 years for my residency. Did my fellowship in Atlanta. At that point, you're just looking for a job. And I've worked a little bit in Georgia, but Florida, seemed to have pretty good gigs. I was over in West Palm for a year. Been here in Tampa now for 8 years. And I love Tampa, man. It's probably the best place I've ever lived.
Man,
I've lived in some spots. This is probably the best place.
I love Tampa too, man. It's getting expensive, but I love it.
No, that's the thing. When I first moved here, it was like this cost of living and all the other stuff is great. Now the cost of living is getting up there, so it's not quite the same, but it's still, I don't know anybody ever comes down here for a weekend to hang that doesn't have a great time. So that means something.
I always say everything you can do in Miami, you can do in Tampa now for cheaper.
Yeah,
same thing. So Detroit, all right. What part of Detroit? I know he wanted to ask that question.
East side or west side?
East downtown East.
Downtown.
By
East.
King.
All right.
Yeah.
I'm west side all the way. Grand River and what was it? Jefferson, I think, something like that.
I don't even
It's been so
remember.
long. I used to hang out most of the time on like Greenfield and Joy Road. That's
Okay.
where I was
Yeah,
a lot.
okay.
So I don't even know where I was, where I grew up.
Iman, where you from, bro?
Kansas City, Missouri,
All right.
home of the Super Bowl champions.
They got black people in Kansas City?
They got hella black people in Kansas City.
Yeah, you be talking that shit about Kansas City Chiefs. You know what though? When you're up, you're up. So
Yeah.
how'd you live in Tampa?
So when I was in St. Louis back when I was married, my grandparents moved down here when I was in college, 95, 96, somewhere in that range. And then my dad eventually moved down, and they were in Sarasota basically. So I would be down here. We'd be down here visiting. Plus, when me and Janelle and the kids would vacation, sometimes we'd come to Florida or whatever.
Gotcha.
And we just liked it. I was like, well, got family here, and she had some family here too, so we just liked it. Now we ended up getting a divorce in like 2014. I think it finalized 2015. But but a whole lot we had talked about coming down here. I actually had a job lined up
Already?
in 2014
Oh, nice.
when I was graduating from residency in 2013. But then we split. So I was like, well, I can't leave the kids. So I stayed in St. Louis because I was supposed to come. She was like, no, you should go. I said, no. So then about 3 years passed, and for whatever reason, she up and decided she wanted to go. She'd been looking for jobs. A really good one came across her desk in Lakeland, a really good one, like for pediatricians, like a really good one. And she
Wow,
was
so
like,
she's been in Lakeland this whole time, huh?
yes. So she was like, hey, you still want to move to Florida, Tampa? I was like, yeah. So we mutually agreed to work it out and do it. Me, her, and all the kids, and her husband at the time, or she had gotten remarried. We all, and my girlfriend at the time, we all came down here together.
Right on.
That's what's
I've
up.
been here for like 5 years.
Why did y'all choose to become a doctor? Like, was it a family thing, or was it something you always wanted to be? Like, some people just like do whatever the parents say. You need to be a doctor. I want you to be a doctor. And you just grew up doing that. But was it like, yeah, I want to be a doctor? Like, why?
All right. Even though, so my background, my father was a surgeon, once a surgeon. A grandfather in the ER before you really had to do a residency for such things. Then he went into addictive medicine, psychiatry. And my mother was a nephrologist. She was one of the few black female nephrologists in the country.
You said a what?
Nephrologist, a kidney doctor. Sorry, a kidney doctor.
Okay. All right.
Yeah.
I would have just been.
Yeah, sorry,
guessing in
kidney,
my
kidney
head.
doctor. I'll start when I use it back. I'll translate.
Nephrology.
I'll start using the right. Yeah, I gotta.
No. Hey, say your words, man. I'm just gonna ask what.
I'll explain it. And so I had that as a youth. I actually went to the ER with my father as a kid. You know, I actually spent the night in the call room before. That said, I can't really say it was always there for me, but it wasn't like my desire. My first choice was to do that. I actually wanted to be a fighter pilot.
Right. Yeah.
And then I went through college. I did these things. I was like, there's certain whatever. So I decided ultimately I decided to go to med school.
Okay.
You know, it worked out, but it wasn't actually my first choice.
Yeah. So it kind of just like because of the family, like because your parents essentially worked in the medical field.
I was exposed to it.
You were exposed to it,
like
so
a lot. I would go to my mother's office when I was a kid.
So let me ask you just one quick follow up. Did they want? Is that what they wanted for you, or was it like what did they push you in any particular direction, or was it just kind of like do your thing?
Not really. They always push for, you know, higher education. My dad was always, you know, teaching me things.
Speaking of your dad, he has a question.
These are not my boxes, Pop. But anyway,
that was a Pop figure.
So like, you know, like, but they didn't try to push me to be doctor. My mother actually told me, do not go to med school. She told me that several times.
She was like, yo, you don't want this life.
She said, don't do it.
Yeah. What about
I did
you,
it anyway.
Wow.
No family in the medical field, and I think growing like, you know, you're like 12, 13, everybody's walking around saying things. Oh, I want to be a doctor. I want to be a lawyer.
Yeah.
So initially, I wanted to be a lawyer. Then I got to a certain point, probably about 15. I was like, lawyer seems like a whole lot of reading. And I was like, I don't want to read that much. So I was like, hey, if I be a doctor, I don't have to read.
Yeah.
Once I know the stuff, I'm good. Which is so false because we learning all the time. We never stop. Never stops.
Yeah.
So that was my thought process. Like, boy, I got to read cases. Like, no.
So he be seeing lawyers now. Be like, y'all do a lot of reading.
Yeah. Because I know I'm reading all the time.
Every day.
Constantly learning.
Yeah, I don't imagine doctors.
That was my choice.
They do more reading than us, though. They actually do. Like, all that paperwork they be
I mean,
they have volumes of law. They just have to know, like, wow, this rote memorization. I can't do that.
Especially like on your way up, sometimes you just the motherfucker to read shit for everybody else. That's just your job.
Yeah.
So the practices that y'all are in now, how did you decide that? Like, I'm sure it was a stressful thing to try to decide what practice to go in. Like, I've never experienced it, but I imagine like once you do it, you're there for a while, right?
So the thing is, like, towards the end of your medical school, like third year, early fourth, you have to decide what you're going to go into, what residency you're going to attempt to go for. So that's basically when you have to pretty much choose at that point, more or less what you're going to be doing for the next, 30, 40 years, however long you're going to work. So, go through a process. Like before I picked what I picked, OB, I was going to do OB. That was fully in.
That's babies. Right.
However, I got a migraine one night when I was on call, and they called me at 3 a.m. to go in as a med student, and I was like, I can't go. Like, I'm hurting. I can't go in. So I went in, but then I was like, let me pick a field where I'm not emergent. I do not have to get out of my bed to go help anybody. I could do this, office clinic, but I don't want to get out of bed to come help you. So
I've never heard the word emergent used like that. Like, I've heard emergency. He said not emergent.
I am not emergent.
With a capital T at the end. Fuck that.
I do rehabilitation. I do pain management. None of that stuff is 3 a.m. stuff.
Yeah.
Okay. So that's how I fell into this field. And once you're in your residency, after that, if you want to specialize even more, you can. And I did a year of interventional pain after doing 4 years of physical medicine.
That's what's up. That's
right on.
Iman.
So I used to want to do. So my journey for that was, it's like I majored in psychology in college, right? I actually was thinking about going to get a clinical psychology degree, all right, but I didn't want to graduate from college to do 7 more years of school for that, get a PsyD.
Yeah.
So then I was like, I'm gonna go to med school. I'll be a psychiatrist. And then I was like, I don't want to take people's problems home with me. I'm not doing that. Then I was like, I'll do cardiothoracic surgery because I love that shit. I really do. Like, I love the physiology, anatomy. But then I'll be up. Like, I'll be like on call. My life will suck. I'll be Q2. No, it was just like every 2 nights you're on call. I'm good. So I was like, I'm gonna go to general surgery. I'll do my own practice. I'll work 3 days a week. I'll be good. I didn't match in surgery. Now I could have gone to Vanderbilt for a transitional year in surgery because I actually got invited by the surgery director there to do it, but it would have kept me away from my family who was in St. Louis because Janelle, they had graduated in 06, so Janelle had already gone to St. Louis with our kids. So I was like, okay. So I went ahead and scrambled. I matched in pathology. I actually liked pathology, but I was bored all the time. I finished my work about 1 o'clock every day, which looking back, that's not bad, right? But I was just bored out of my mind.
Yeah.
So I went and did internal medicine residency. My second year down, I was like, I can't do this because I hate clinic. So then I went ahead and I was like, I started doing my ER rotation. I did an ER rotation. I was like, oh, I love this. And so I was like, I started doing that. And I always realized like every time there was an emergency, critical care on the floor, code, I was always the best at my job at that. So when there's like an emergency, like he avoids those. When there's one, I'm like the calm in the middle of the story.
That's like the adrenaline junkie.
But
right?
I hate everything else.
Yeah.
I like the adrenaline part of it because I'm
Yeah.
very calm, cool, and collected at that point. I'm a problem solver in the middle of a crisis. I'm good at that. But I hate all the other stuff about it.
Right.
Yeah.
So, but anyway, I went to ER.
Like other stuff, like what?
Like, don't come and see me because you got the sniffles. I don't want to.
Right.
I don't want to deal with that. But we'll talk about that. But
Yeah,
I'm
we'll
saying,
talk about it. We'll talk about
so
it.
I went, but the
Like,
money.
if them sniffles don't mean your head about to explode. Don't
But
talk
the
to me.
money and the lifestyle was good. I can control my schedule more. You know, I can kind of pick and choose a little bit. I don't have to be on call. When I leave work, I leave work. You cannot call me to come in. You can, but I can say no. It's not a big deal. I can work 14 days a month, still have a life. Done.
That's what's up.
He's equally not on call, so that's also like
Yeah.
when he's
Not
there,
on
he's
call.
there.
Yep.
But like you said, there's nobody. 2 a.m, your pager going off back in the day.
No pager.
That was the worst.
I used to have a utility belt and pages and resumes.
Oh yeah.
I hated them bitches,
Oh,
like
yeah.
right here.
Damn.
No.
Yeah.
Look
Last
like
people-
motherfucking
Like Meter
Batman.
Man. Meter Man.
Like Batman
Meter
with the.
Absolutely.
I got a question. Do either of y'all cut into people
Yes, we both do.
like regularly?
Mm-hmm.
And that is how y'all feel about that?
Love it.
You love it.
I got a weak,
All right, he feels about it.
I got a weak stomach, so I know.
I mean, I didn't know I was gonna get this far. So
Yeah. No, I mean, it's just it is what it is. You have to put something in there. You got to cut to because I do
Gotta
some
get
little
in
minor
there.
procedures and I put some things in people, stuff like that. So whether it's scalpel, I do a lot of needle work mainly, but I do use some scalpel work as well. So but-
needlework as in like stitches and stuff.
No, I do a lot of injections.
Mm.
So like injection for pain, where like epidural blocks.
Got you.
and-
Coruscant? No, what's it called?
Yeah, exactly. But I'm putting it
Yeah.
like into like the area, the upper area of your spinal cord
Right.
to help for pain. So I do a lot of that. But yeah, I mean, you gotta have. I never had a weak stomach for.
Yeah,
for
of
blood.
course.
You got to have a strong stomach.
Yeah,
Yeah,
listen, once you
It took. Did it take? How long did it take for y'all to kind of get there? Like, was it like
never
a slow build?
was a 0%. Like once we did anatomy, right? So we had an anatomy class together. A bunch of us did, and once you get a dead body in front of you that smells to high heaven in parts, depending on where you're cutting, and you just cut him from stem to stern or her from stem to stern, you're past that point.
Right.
Yeah.
You're
You
good.
just lost your virginity.
I mean, it's a wrap.
Yeah.
Mm.
It's a wrap on that. You fucking from now on.
Can you imagine?
All right.
So y'all both went to HBCUs. This is my last question. You both went to HBCUs. What was that experience like? And actually, you educated me because I did not know that my Harry College is a black
HBCU.
medical school.
Mhm.
So combine them both. Like, what were those experiences like for y'all? Like,
It was great. I had a good time. It was welcoming environment. It was a caring environment. I think that's probably the biggest thing with HBCUs is like the staff and the people that really care about you and they care about you. They want you to succeed and they'll help you. If you're struggling, it's a lot more of a network. So undergrad, that was cool, but definitely medical school, you needed more of that because it was some rough times for everyone in medical school. So yeah, but it also was a lot of fun.
I bet it was.
A
I
lot
bet
of
it
fun.
was.
Yeah, a lot
I
of
bet
fun.
it was. Same thing for you. It was a good experience.
I
for you?
mean, it was a great experience. I always tell my daughters, and they go to FAMU now. I'm like, listen, if I could go back and do all those years all over again, I'd do it pretty much exactly the way I did them.
Oh,
Right?
yeah,
I had a great time. Clark,
yeah.
going to Meharry, it was almost like I never left, except it's a smaller, more condensed situation.
Mhm.
But I always promote HBCUs for Black kids because, listen, you're gonna have your interpersonal issues, you're gonna have your beefs, you're gonna have your people you don't like, people that like you, whatever. That's
Yeah.
normal stuff. What you
Yeah.
don't want to deal with, or you're trying to get a higher education and just be psychologically, emotionally safe, is racism. And you do not have to deal with that at HBCU. And that's exactly why I told them they needed to go. You'll deal with your problems in the administration, the financial aid office. It's gonna be a headache. It's gonna be a headache.
Yeah, one reason I asked that
But-
question because I was it ever a concern for you going? Because you know how white America sometimes look at HBCUs. Was there ever a concern that maybe your peers or your colleagues would not respect HBCU degree? Not that there's anything wrong. We know it's not anything wrong with it, but you know how things are in the world, right?
MD's an MD, bro. DO's a DO. Done. And I'm good at what I do, and so is he. That's it.
Yeah, I mean, once you get to this point, you know, patients don't look to see where we're graduating from.
Yeah,
But there is sometimes when you're going up,
through it.
like trying to get into medical school, like there's hierarchies, you know,
For sure.
Even hierarchies with PWIs as well, you know.
Absolutely.
You go to Stanford
Absolutely.
versus you
Well,
go
yeah,
to,
true. Like if
you
someone
know,
says, I went to Harvard Medical School, you
correct.
know,
So
might
yeah,
never get into some major academic institution
Right.
versus if I'm over here,
right.
whatever.
But once you finish, like I said, you know, like, doesn't matter. Like I said, and once you have the degree, you're good.
That's what's up.
So given the annoyances of the gig, I know you said you originally wanted to be like a fighter pilot. Do you still kind of maybe wish you were a fighter pilot, or you're like,
Absolutely, I do.
yeah, because like you talking about thrills, you know what I'm saying? That's
I have perfect
Mm,
vision. Like
yeah.
honestly, I actually wish that I had done it.
yeah,
Like problem is I have asthma, so
Right.
I'm not sure how they would have
Oh,
taken
yeah,
it.
yeah,
That's
yeah,
a
yeah,
problem,
yeah,
but it's
yeah.
not
You-
bad. Like it's very well controlled. So
oh,
I
it
don't,
can work.
yeah, so I don't
I don't
know.
know if
But
you can
I would
break out
have
the-
been great at that. My reflexes are awesome.
I don't think you can
No,
break
it's-
the rescue inhaler out with the.
Yeah,
It's
right. I
built
can't do
into
that
the
with the mask.
shit.
I can't do that. I'm gonna need a hole. I can detach the hole.
I'm
Yeah.
sure they'll
And then,
build
like,
into the
maybe like a
mask for
spacer.
you.
I can use it like a spacer.
Yeah.
Do breathing treatment while you're.
So
While
same
he's at
question.
7 G's.
So same
Right.
question for you. Is
Do I
there
regret? Nah, there's nothing else I would.
like you never wanted to be like a model or nothing like that? And
Oh,
you're like,
here we
"Damn,
go.
If I had just, if I had just perfected my walk.
Hit
Nah,
his
nah.
ebony man pose.
All right.
I'm good. I'm happy. Like I'm content. Like work. I do well. Have a good work-life balance. Real good work-life balance.
Right on.
I'm good.
Cheers to that.
Yeah.
Well, thank y'all for coming, fellas.
Yeah,
Thank
I'm
man.
glad y'all here.
Let's get into this. I'm about to curse. I'm trying not to curse because Iman asked me not to curse.
I didn't ask you
But-
nothing.
Nah,
You a
he
grown
said-
ass man.
He said, "Daddy watching."
No,
I need you
I
not
did
to
not
curse.
say that, man.
So
I
I'm not
didn't say
gonna
that.
curse.
Well, have you met my father? Trust me, he's a wild boy.
You be getting these motherfuckers off?
Hey, let's get into this shit that people want to talk about.
Game time.
What's this right here?
Yeah, that's tequila, right?
Take it. Take the rest of it.
We are
Well, you gonna mix tequilas? Is that what
getting
you about
back
to do?
up here.
No, this is water.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, I'm just drinking water.
Don't do that.
So we are. Hold on one second.
That's probably real dangerous.
Ooh,
I mean, don't do it on the map. You know what I'm saying? You got to go.
All right, so we are talking about today all things health related, especially in the Black culture, but we're going to touch on a lot of different topics. We didn't want to have this conversation without some professionals with the
Much
knowledge
obliged.
about it. And so if you're watching the podcast live, we need you to ask questions too. If you got a question you want to ask these gentlemen, obviously, they don't speak for all medical professionals, but they'll do their best to give you certain answers. So I'm gonna start off like this. Do y'all feel the American healthcare system is the best system in the world?
No.
From a knowledge call, from knowledge to cost, why or why not? Because I personally don't feel like it is. This is coming from obviously a person not in the industry, someone who goes to the hospital or my family physician. I'm like, man, why the fuck does this stuff cost so much? And why don't we have universal health care, et cetera, et cetera? So I don't feel like it's the best system in the world. How do y'all feel about it being in the industry?
I think from a knowledge standpoint, it's probably one of the top ones far as the research and just the money we spend into learning.
Like the
Now,
care that's
the
offered.
care, yeah. But far as like the cost, no, capitalism ruins everything. It's just
Extreme capitalism for sure.
yeah. So no, it's messed up. It's
Your only customer.
yeah, exactly. Got to have the money to stay healthy, which is messed up.
Oh, man, it's so messed up. But you're right. We gotta have the money to stay healthy. But a lot of people don't have the money to stay healthy. A lot of times I watch people. I'm a TikTok person, and a lot of people in different countries are always surprised to find out that like taking an ambulance costs money. In their country is none of that costs.
That's supposed to be free.
Yeah.
Like you just gotta know. You just gotta ride. Okay.
Well, so
Especially when you call an ambulance and it's like you really didn't even need it. You could have drove, but you was like, I ain't gonna drive though.
Feeling kind of bad.
Yeah.
Here's that 700. Is it 700? I know it used to be 500 probably about 20 years ago. I don't know how much it is now for
It's too
ambulance
much.
ride. Probably
It's
close to
too
the
much.
cheap.
I'ma just call an Uber.
Yeah, or just deal.
Well,
Or lay on the sidewalk.
Like I'm
try to
bleeding
feel
out my
better.
head. Come on, Uber.
Yeah.
Just
I've actually done a lot of reading about this stuff. And so when you look at how we're trained versus people, say in Europe or other foreign medical grads from the Middle East or Africa are trained.
Yeah.
I actually was having a conversation about this in my emergency medicine group, my Black EM group. And the information is generally the same. The physiology, anatomy, all that stuff that we learn is generally the same. The difference is the training regionally, right? So what we just in the States, what we do in Florida, for example, you get your arm bitten off by an alligator. Did you guys see this story recently?
No,
Guy
I
got
didn't
his
see it.
arm bitten off, he got drunk, fell in some water. Alligator took his right arm right off above the elbow.
Florida
Right?
man.
You have to know how to deal with that kind of dismemberment in Florida. But in Boston, you're not going to have an alligator biting a man's arm off.
Yeah.
Now, you might have a machine accident,
Actually,
Right.
yeah.
but you have
But
to
it's
deal
more
with,
rare.
say, different types of antibiotics. There's
Right.
literally fine tuning of standard of care depending on where you are. So that's one issue.
Yeah.
Oh,
The
that's a
other
good point.
The other issue is while costs are down and are not transferred to civilians in, say, any given country in Europe or whatever, say medical care is free.
Second camera.
Doctors also make less. Okay, fine. Maybe the cost of living is not as bad. I actually don't know that. But also,
Well, you said doctors make less here?
oh no, doctors will make less. Say,
in
in
another
London
country.
or
Yeah, got
Germany
you,
or
got you.
someplace like
Okay,
that, right? But your emergency services won't cost.
Yeah.
Like that'll be free, for example. But if you try to get an appointment, if you found, like, say you find cancer, you try to get an appointment to be seen, it could take you a while to get into a doctor depending on what country you're at. Now, a place like Germany, I know this for a fact, you could actually just make an appointment, walk in and be seen
Yeah.
somewhere by an oncologist. But in a place like Canada, you cannot do that.
Right.
So it just depends. And again, that's your money, how much money you have, like he's talking about, is gonna matter in that instance.
It's just so crazy, man. I remember in 2020, right in the height of like COVID, I was out riding my bike one day. I had just lost my job too, and I ride my bike and I had a freak accident, man. I went to Courtney Campbell, went over the side, flipped over, landed on the rocks, cut my shit. I hit my head at everything. I'm bleeding from everywhere. And what I should have done, I should have called the ambulance and got my ass taken to the hospital and get checked out. But I didn't have I didn't have insurance.
Right.
I barely had any money.
Right.
So I sat my ass on that side, tried to gather myself, stop my blood, got on my bike and biked home.
Yeah.
Right. Which is probably dumb as fuck. But I didn't go to sleep. I knew better not to go to sleep. I didn't know if I had a bad concussion or whatnot, or brain injury. So yeah. But I say all to say, if I had, the insurance and wasn't worried about the cost, I would have did the right thing.
Right.
Mhm.
So
It's definitely a barrier for people seeking
Huge.
help, knowing that the co-pays or if you don't have any insurance. And, some people just sit like, I'm not going to go to the doctor. And then by the time they do go, it's too late because that's the problem. Like, prevention is way easier than treatment. But
damn, say that again. Prevention is
Yeah.
way easier than treatment.
We actually need to talk about that. Yeah, somebody said something about
Yeah, what they got
myasthenia
up there?
gravis or something like that.
What it say?
Somebody was saying somebody wants to go scroll up a little bit. Somebody said their mom has MG and does anyone have experience with this condition? Well, I mean,
How you
that's a
say
pretty
that?
broad conversation.
So
but
how do you
myasthenia
in
gravis?
short
It's called
term, in short term,
myasthenia gravis. It's a autoimmune issue.
Is that something that has to do with temperature? Like why would Tampa be like a
no, I think they're
issue?
just, it seems like she wants her mother to be referred to endocrinologist,
Yeah,
neurologist.
probably an immunologist or
Yeah.
or a rheumatologist.
Mm.
They
Yeah,
tend to deal with
rheumatologist,
the
yeah.
autoimmune issues.
Gotcha.
Yeah, well,
Yeah.
if your mother's coming to Tampa soon, she probably needs to find a rheumatologist ASAP because they are here. They're about 3, 4, 5 months
Damn.
to
Yeah,
get in
they-
for a new patient visit. So if she is moving down here, she should start looking now.
Just
Facebook
make an
user.
appointment now. By the time she gets here, she'll have 3 months more to probably go, something like
They're,
that. Yeah.
they're about 5 months out.
See, that's the other thing that irks me about healthcare in America. And I don't obviously don't have nothing else compared to. I haven't got healthcare nowhere else. But it seems like when I want a motherfucking appointment, I gotta wait so long that by the time I get my shit, I'm dead.
That is definitely a problem.
You know what I'm saying? Like, unless I know who I gotta go to, but I gotta go to this motherfucker so he can tell me who I gotta go to. Then I gotta go to that motherfucker. Then he gonna send me to do the test, and I gotta do the test. Like, that's like 5 months.
Well, I'm gonna say
Yeah.
2 things about that, and I'll let him chime in or whatever. Like, for one thing, we don't have enough doctors to go around.
For sure.
The population keeps growing, and it's actually doing so exponentially. So
Yeah.
there was 7.5 billion people on the planet in 2015. There's
And these
8 billion
motherfuckers don't want to be doctors.
There's
They want to be
8
on TikTok
8 billion
and
now.
YouTube.
now. Okay, so that's one problem.
Yeah.
The other thing is, you can either wait 3 to 5 months, or
Mhm.
you can never go at all.
Right.
Mm.
You got to
Yeah.
choose.
Yeah, for sure. Yeah, you have to advocate for your health for sure. Like, especially if you got insurance. If you listen, don't nobody get healthcare faster than a motherfucker that didn't have insurance and just got insurance.
Absolutely.
I did not have insurance for a while, and as soon as I got my shit, I was like, test me for everything.
Right.
Let's see what y'all got.
Yeah,
Let's try
go
that
see
one. Let's try
everybody.
this one.
Like every day, you're going to see a
Yeah,
different
like
doctor.
just listen. Give me a tune up, whole body. Just you gotta switch a foot. Do what you gotta do.
So go ahead, Jeff.
I guess somebody said that American wait times to your specialists are months out, sometimes even for primary care. Yeah, it all depends. Like in my practice, somehow we're managed. I can get somebody in probably within a week. You know, long as there's no issue with needing a referral from their primary. Like we get people in, but there are other fields and now like it might be months before you can be seen.
My friend had she literally could barely walk, right? All of a sudden her limbs were numb, her fingers were numb, and she had to go from doctor to doctor to get these tests. But they're so far out to get them tested. It's like her issue would have been, I'm not saying it's not serious, but if it is serious, she could potentially die waiting to get to a doctor, right? And no fault to the doctors or the medical industry, but are we saying that because of lack of doctors, that's why we have these wait times?
No, I mean, you have to play the odds, right? So odds are anybody, how long was she experiencing symptoms, just out of curiosity?
I think probably about a month.
So 1 month she's experiencing symptoms and she's still on this side of the dirt. So what
Yeah.
that means is odds are it's not a life-threatening issue. It's an issue.
Yeah,
It needs to be dealt with,
yeah,
but it's not going to take you out the game,
gotcha.
right? When you talk about being seen immediately for yourself, anybody who really needs to be seen immediately for something, they're going to the ER.
Yeah.
And they're going to bitch and moan until somebody admits them to a hospital and they get an MRI and any other test that they need. Okay. You're not going to walk around with numbness and tinglings of the limbs, of the hands and feet, or whatever, and still be relatively okay and just learning to manage it until you can be seen and not lose your mind if you're dying. Like that's just not happening.
Yeah.
So when we talk about that, it's because people are playing the odds. The odds are it's not some ridiculous cancer. The odds are it's not some ridiculous musculoskeletal issue or nervous system issue. However it happens, you could have MS, you could have multiple sclerosis,
Yeah.
you could have some bad like you could have Huntington's disease, you could have something bad. You could. But even
but it's
that
not
is
gonna take you
slow.
out tomorrow.
But even
Correct,
that's
yeah.
slow going. And if you have it as chronic, and diagnosing you today versus 1 month from now doesn't necessarily
Make a
mean
big
much.
difference.
And that's why that happens.
Gotcha.
Yeah.
Okay. So what are y'all thoughts? And you can answer this too. What are your thoughts on medical tourism? Because this is something that's been happening for a very long time. It's actually the fastest growing trend in travel tourism that there is. And I think obviously we just had this big article a couple months ago about the couple people that was killed in Mexico. They were trying to get shit done. But medical tourism has been happening for a lot lately. What are y'all thoughts on that? Like, that's for the whole table.
I mean, I get it. I mean, it's the prices are cheaper, and most likely you're going to have a good result. Most likely you're not going to catch a brick like they did, or go somewhere and the doctor messed you up. So you have a good chance of having a successful outcome at a cheaper price. But the only issue is if you are that rare person to catch a brick,
Mhm.
you don't have the legal system to cover you.
Oh,
You
back
don't
up.
have the ER, the hospital system to cover you in the U.S. as far as getting treatment because
Yeah.
you're stuck in DR and they're like,
Right.
hey, before you come in this hospital, we need 2 G's.
Yeah.
Like, we don't do Blue Cross Blue Shield. Like, where's the cheese at? So that's the only issue. If you catch a brick, you're in trouble. But most likely you won't catch a bad one, and you'll be okay.
And
I
So,
also,
you, so you're not against it. You're not against
I understand.
it.
I understand because certain stuff people want done, it's 1/5 the price as it is in Tampa. I mean, I get it.
Yeah, I mean, I know people who've done it. Kobe did it for his knees.
Mm.
He went to Germany or he went to somewhere in Europe to get PRP on his knees. Europe, in terms of certain procedures, Europe tends to be ahead of us by 5 to 10 years on certain things for whatever reasons. I don't know.
probably because like
It-
more
it
of that
really has to do
happened
with
out
the
there or
FDA. It
something.
really has to do with the FDA and probably lobbying, but whatever.
Oh yeah.
But like that said, I'm speculating. But that said, I know people who are thinking about doing it.
Yeah.
And the only thing I tell them as a caveat is wherever you go, research the country itself and the medical, and whatever it is specialty you're
Know what you're
need.
getting.
Check out the doctor. I tell those people here, look up the surgeon, see what his success rate is, look at his complications rate, look at the mortality rate, which is like fatality, like death. Look at all that and make an informed decision. But I'm
You
all
can
for
look
it.
for stuff like that.
You
Yeah,
can look
where-
for stuff like
Where
that.
would you find that? Because
Yeah.
What?
Most-
No, you can actually ask that information. So that's what I'm getting to. You can ask that information, but you have to ask. If you
Right.
don't ask of the surgeon you're interested in seeing,
Right.
then you won't get it. And
But-
most people don't know to ask that. Like
Yeah.
almost 99.9% of
even-
people
that's-
don't know to ask that. You
yeah,
can
that's
find that
a-
out though.
that's
You
a
can
gem
ask.
I mean,
right
but if
there.
you ask them, what's the likelihood they say, yeah, I've
I
killed 3
fucked
people.
up.
Everybody know I do
Yeah.
well. Like, unless you have some
Yeah.
objective data, you ask them,
Yeah.
they're like, I'm the best doctor in Santo Domingo. What are you talking
I
about?
do the best BBL.
Yeah,
What are you
well,
talking
yeah.
about?
I ain't
Yeah.
got the data there.
So yeah, I would say the reviews count, even though
Yeah,
people-
reviews will count.
reviews
count
are the
too.
biggest thing. You got people who's going to shit bomb your reviews.
for
But if you look
sure.
at the overall,
Especially millennials. Man.
Yeah,
We
if
gonna
you-
review some shit.
if you got 20 reviews and 18 are good and 2 are bad, I mean, you got to play the percentage on that.
Listen, I didn't even know that you can find reviews on those surgeries.
You can go to anywhere, Google, Yelp, I don't know, whatever, Yelp, but that's food, right? But whatever. Like you can go find reviews anywhere
Yeah.
on anybody
Yeah.
for real.
How you feel about medical tourism?
I'm for it. I heard it's the only way that I'm gonna not be bald no more. Like otherwise, I just
That's
gotta
what Slinger's
stick with
saying
it.
right now, talking about Turkey.
Stem cells for
Turkey's
the knees.
Turkey's the place for
Turkey's
for
good
dental,
for,
yeah.
for the hair, for the
hair
hair,
transplants.
Hair transplant.
Listen,
dental.
man, at this point,
Heard.
I have embraced my baldness.
Yeah.
My baldness.
I'm still
It is
starting
what
to
it
go
is.
bald, so I might see what I can do if I save up a 10K
Listen, that LeBron,
by the time I'm 40.
doing pretty good.
I'm still doing okay. So I'm
Yeah.
good.
Yeah, you're doing good. Yeah.
So keeping the conversation moving along, man. So I'm just going by my notes I wrote down. It's like COVID changed a lot of industries, right? But I don't think we talk enough about how the medical industry was affected. And one of the things that we know about is not enough staffing, like you talked about, especially for nursing. But I didn't know there's not enough doctors going around. What are some other ways that COVID affected your industry that most people might not know about?
Well, I wasn't working for 6 months in COVID,
Mm.
like at all. Like I got furloughed for 6 months.
Mm.
Did I tell you this?
Mhm.
Oh yeah, I got furloughed for 6 months during COVID.
Wow.
Because so we were telling people, stay your asses home.
Right.
Mhm.
Don't come to the ER unless you're for real sick.
Right.
Sniffles and whatever. But if you can't breathe, if you turning blue,
Mhm.
come to the ER.
Mhm.
So for the first time in the history of emergency medicine, of emergencies out in the world, people decided they could deal with whatever little bullshit they were dealing with.
They didn't want to come in.
And they didn't want to come in.
Yeah.
And so they were staying home, and our numbers dropped dramatically. And so what happened was, and this just happened to me. So mid-level, we call mid-level. So PAs, physician assistants, and NPs, nurse practitioners, all their hours dropped.
Mm.
Physician hours dropped and pay dropped. Like, okay, we took less pay so that they could
Why
pay
would
NPs.
why would the
Listen,
never mind.
That's a whole
So they
other
can pay the
conversation we
people.
actually don't have time for. That's
Yeah.
a corporate medicine issue.
Right.
Forget that. But so a lot of doctors got laid off
Mm.
or furloughed. Some doctors actually were able to sue successfully behind that.
Mm.
And on top of that, they were laying off cardiologists,
Wow.
gastroenterologists, GI doctors. Okay, people who are high procedure specialties because we call scoping for dollars. So you have a lot of people who get elective cardiac caths, where they shoot some dye in your heart, take a look at your arteries. They do colonoscopies, right? Take a look at your GI tract.
Right.
You had a lot of people in those fields that got furloughed or fired. And you know what they said? And this is a direct quote. They said they'll still be there. They'll still be there when the job comes back. That's what they told them, and they hired these people back. That's what happened.
And also here in Florida, they actually did a couple moratoriums. They stopped all elective procedures in hospitals. So like anything
Money
elective,
crashed.
like I couldn't do some of my blocks, you know, because like that's elective, it's not emergent. So that another reason why the hospital, like I go to a couple hospitals to do consults. Hospitals were ghost towns. Like it was nobody in there except for COVID patients.
Right,
but like the regular, like the knee replacements, the hip replacements, things like that, they weren't getting done because it was shut down. Now, as far as my own personal practice, fortunately, but also unfortunately, people they're going to come get their pain treated. It's one of those things that, you know, I don't care what's going on because it's a quality of, I'm in a quality of life field.
Yeah.
So they're going to come see if they can get some relief, get some pain management. So it didn't really slow me down much, but you know, like I said, because people, if they don't do anything, they can come see their pain doctor.
Nobody want to be in pain.
Yes.
Nobody want to be in pain.
Yeah. They don't, and I get it. I understand.
Yeah, I didn't know. I mean, that's something to think about, right? You think about like the hospitality industry, how bad that was affected with COVID, but you almost never heard about doctors or surgeons getting laid off because it's not the sexy talk.
We're very much a hospitality industry. Believe that.
Yeah.
Believe that.
I have a very important question.
Which means it's probably not important.
Why are you smiling like that then? Like, what is that? Is that shit-eating grin on your face?
This is very important. This is very important. Is squirt pee?
Yes.
Yeah.
There we go.
Yes.
I gotta be a doctor to know that.
Yes.
It is.
And that's the end of it.
Not like
Yes.
I really give a fuck, but I feel like
Studies,
people want to know.
research.
Squirts?
Hey, where's Dave Lewis right now?
Research and studies.
Shout out to Dave Lewis, man.
Shout out to
From
Dave
reputable,
Lewis.
from reputable
Another
institutions.
Detroit.
Shout out to Detroit. Detroit
Yeah,
want to know if
but
squirt is pee.
He's a full through and through Detroit.
Yeah.
Like
And he believes the squirt is pee?
no.
You
No.
Oh, he's acting-
he
he
came
a doctor?
around?
Yeah,
He came around.
Yes.
Because he didn't use
Oh, so
to.
at first he was like,
Because
no.
we didn't used to.
Research has shown that
Okay.
they check the bladder.
That's what I was
Gotcha.
saying. And after-
Research has shown.
Okay.
I love an
research-
answer. I love an answer that starts with research has shown.
Yo, man.
Listen, no
Yo.
It's fine, though.
dude's gonna stop if you're squirting
fine,
on
you
him.
can-
But let's just be straight.
Listen.
It's pee.
The
It's pee.
ego being fed is greater than whatever you feel is disgusting.
Absolutely.
So, yeah.
People are in denial about that though. It's not pee. It
It doesn't matter.
Just accept it.
Now that everybody knows, whoever
Listen,
everybody
the
is.
first time you take a mouthful, you know.
The doctors
A
have
mouthful?
spoken.
A mouthful, nigga.
Now,
What are
why
you
you got a
talking
mouthful?
about right now?
How you
from
getting a
Detroit,
mouthful?
nigga.
How you getting a mouthful?
I'm from Detroit.
How you getting a
I
mouthful?
feel like you could have kept that between the four of us after the camera was
That's
off,
all good.
and you just threw it out there.
He's living his truth. That's all good.
I ain't never taken no mouthful of squirt, but you know I'm gonna let my boy have it.
I mean, it wasn't a choice. It just happened.
Okay, she pissed in your mouth. That's what she
Maybe.
did.
Jesus.
Maybe it's fine.
He loved
It's
it.
fine. We were in
Loved
love
it.
at the time. It's fine.
Sure.
It's fine.
That's fine.
All
At least
right,
it wasn't
I'm
on a
nasty too,
period,
it's
but
fine.
you know.
I'm very nasty. It's fine.
Yeah.
we're all,
Yeah.
we're all nasty. So
All right.
uh,
I'm glad we got that important question
I
out the
appreciate
way.
that. I appreciate that question.
That's
though.
what I'm here for.
I appreciate that. So I feel like there are many Black people who feel like doctors don't take our concerns seriously when we come in saying we're experiencing discomfort or pain, especially Black women.
Facts.
What kind of advice would you recommend to people of color about their visits to a doctor? Like they say, okay, I feel like my doctor's not listening to me, or they don't trust how I feel.
I would say the most important thing: find a doctor that looks like you.
Yep.
It's not many of us, but it makes a huge. And studies have. There's been other studies about that as well.
Facts.
That you get better care and you get more thorough care when you go to a doctor that looks like you.
Do you have a Black doctor?
I don't.
You don't.
I mean,
Do you have a doctor?
I have a family physician for
Okay.
sure, but
I
I've been
And
actually trying to find a younger doctor because I had an older doctor. When I older, I mean like he was up there, old
like
white
Joe
guy.
Biden. Old.
He wasn't.
No,
70,
he wasn't Joe
80,
Biden.
so I'm trying to find a younger family physician.
Yeah.
But yeah, I would like to find a person of color though for a doctor.
I'm in search of a black doctor.
If you have to have a white doctor, make sure it's a woman. Don't let it be a dude.
Really?
Yeah.
Wait, if you said as a black doctor,
No, as a
Oh,
black
if not a
person,
black-
period. If you're gonna have a white doctor, make sure it's a woman, not a dude.
white woman.
Yeah.
Okay.
Why do you personally feel like that?
I don't know, man. I
I'm
don't
not
want to
saying
show my
anything
dick to
wrong
this
with
white
it.
girl.
Hmm?
I don't want to show my dick to this
I'm
white
kinda-
girl like that.
What do you?
It's
think
not really her
She's gonna
business.
rape you on the table?
No. I don't
What
think it's
are
gonna
you
be
talking
rape.
about?
I don't want to. I don't want to feel those feelings. I don't want to be
What
like she saw my
feelings?
dick.
What reason are you pulling out your dick?
Sometimes.
That's a question.
No, stop. Act
What's
like.
wrong?
Hey.
What's wrong?
Act like that old white man ain't seen your dick.
Oh, he has.
Motherfucker, that's what I'm talking about.
For the yearly checkup.
We
the
show
yearly
our dicks.
checkup.
Really?
The yearly
I
checkup.
feel like
You gotta show your dick.
let's corral this. We have a whole other conversation
Yes,
we need to have.
Sorry, y'all.
we do.
Off
We
camera.
do. We
Sorry.
do.
But, no, it's all good.
And we got a lot of questions. We got a lot
Sometimes
of
But
you
he's
gotta
questions.
say
right.
this.
Find a doctor looks like you. But the problem is, like, for what I do, I see the worst of the worst. I see people at what they feel is their worst day, right? They've gone 40 years and lived life, and they've come into me and whatever this pain is, and it's their worst day.
Mhm.
Now, let me tell you something. The majority of people I see, are white people,
Mhm.
right?
Mhm.
They don't want to see my black ass coming into the room.
Yeah.
When black patients see me,
They go
they're
right to
happy
you.
about it,
Absolutely.
right? But here, now let me talk about this issue real quick. They're still skeptic because I'm a black doctor who's part of the system, right?
Mhm.
So I have to get them to let their guard down to still
Mhm.
talk to me about things.
Yeah.
And it's still better that they're talking to me
Mhm.
than somebody else.
Mhm.
Because I walk in with my J's on and I'm cool. And they're like, okay, that helps lift their guard down. They
Mhm.
see I'm kind of whatever, right? Like,
I mean,
but you're not gonna, unfortunately, right now, you're not gonna be able to see in the majority someone who looks like you, at least in an emergency situation.
is there like this is probably a no-go and probably I'm sure to get into practices, but is there a network of black doctors and nurse practitioners or whatever that people can get plugged into though? Like you can't search black doctors on your United Health card.
I mean, honestly, your best bet is since you know a couple black doctors, just ask us.
Mm.
Like, what you need? Like,
Yeah.
here in Tampa,
Mhm.
we know enough that we can plug you, but there's no it's not a Google. and
Got you.
There's not
You
really
think-
a green book that
I was
for
gonna-
doctors alone.
Well, I was
Well,
gonna
maybe
say.
there should be.
I was gonna say
is
we
it illegal?
should-
Is it
I mean,
illegal?
you can,
Yeah.
whitelist is good. Like you get like whitelist, for example, is good to help refer up just for general things, right?
Yeah.
Including doctoring, lawyering, real estate, whatever, accounting, whatever you
For
want to
those
get
who do
into.
not know, I started a networking group for professional
Right.
people of color in the Tampa Bay area.
Yeah.
And this is how I know these gentlemen, and which I'm super thankful for. So it's been a great way to connect with people you might not be able to.
Yeah, I see. Yeah, that's
Are y'all?
Just don't acknowledge him.
Are y'all familiar with the Green Book of Tampa Bay?
I am.
You are.
Yep.
Is that something because I know it's for like businesses typically, but like maybe there could be like an
Yeah.
extension for
Actually,
doctors.
They had an event about 6 weeks ago.
Yeah. Oh, you're in Green Book? In the Green Book?
Yeah.
Okay, so-
I'm
He's a
Instagram.
social guy.
met with them. They had an event with doctors and lawyers. About 6
Oh,
weeks
right,
ago.
right. I remember that. I
Yeah,
remember
yeah,
that.
It was a good look.
So something like that. So like
Yeah, it
the
should
Green
be.
Book did an event where they had black doctors and lawyers,
Mhm.
and that's a good place where you could probably find one.
I think it would be amazing to have just like a spot to go to find people of color. It doesn't have to be black, right? Obviously, we want them to be black people, but it could be Latino.
Yeah.
Right. I think for people who feel more comfortable with
Just
Latino
somebody
versus,
who's gonna
like,
give a fuck.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And there's people of all races that give a fuck. Like it's
For
not
sure.
Yeah,
For
I'm not-
sure.
Nobody's saying that.
100%.
Everybody, yeah. So
100%.
I'm
you can
saying
find
it.
somebody. That gives
I'm
a fuck
saying
that-
it. I'm saying
You're saying it. So,
But yeah, I mean, if you think about it, like I think we, as people of color, and I mean, so there's no reason. It's not that we don't have a valid reason for the distrust, right?
Yeah.
There is a pattern of history for people of color in the medical history of being treated and discriminated against, right? That's where that mistrust has come from.
I think we're gonna come to that too, especially when we get to the preventative part of medicine. We'll probably come to that.
What do you mean? Can you expand on that? What do
Well,
you mean?
I'm sure you have an agenda there. I don't want to jump it, but
No,
all
no,
I'm
it's
saying
fine.
is,
Whatever.
I
Just
feel like
Speak on it.
when you talk about like our history and everything, it's past time. We, as far as this goes, like, listen, like as far as slavery goes and the history of this country, there's a whole lot to be desired on as far as our people go, and what really needs to happen for healing and to level the playing field.
Yeah.
I'm gonna tell you right now, you only live, if you look at the life expectancy, let me give you a fact, right? So when a Black child or a Hispanic child is born, the life expectancy from birth is about 5 years less than the average white person. That's a fact. That's a checkable fact.
Mhm.
All right. So, and the way they publish data is published in 2 to 3 year cycles.
Yeah, yeah.
So you can look back as far as 2019, 2021, maybe.
Yeah.
You can't see 22 and 23. All right. And then you'll see it in a couple of years and they'll go back, well, this is what we saw then. All right.
Yeah.
So with that said,
I have a question.
what?
Why is that?
Why is what?
Why is it 5 years less? Like, why do y'all
You
think?
gotta go through the
Because
data.
from birth to death, medical care and upkeep of health is worse.
So because like
Period.
people aren't getting it, or because people don't give a fuck? Like, what is?
People aren't getting it and people are being denied it. Those two
Yeah,
things.
both.
There's
Okay.
there's a psychological, there's a psychosocial, emotional aspect to it.
For sure.
And there's an access aspect to it.
Well,
Those two things
poverty
work
too.
against,
I mean,
work
poverty.
together to fuck
Yeah,
you up.
not having money for sure.
That's it.
Yeah. Also, some of those numbers also are affected by some violence of the youth. You know, as far as
Yeah.
like you, because like
Yeah.
more of us
Sure.
die younger, so that kind of also throws off the total
Yeah.
number.
More
Yeah.
of us. You say more of us die younger.
Yeah, like younger, like I'm talking
the
about like
balance.
17, 18,
Right,
19,
right,
we
right.
get taken out. So actually, if you make it to 60, 65 as a person of color, you have about
Pull that
the same
question up.
chance as somebody, a white person, is making the same amount of time. But you have
Yeah.
to make it that far. Now, once you make it that far, it's what are you going to do with it? What's the most important thing you need to do when you get to those ages, even younger? You need to go to the doctor. See your primary care twice a year.
We
Get
also
the blood work done twice a year. That
Ooh,
will-
twice a year. I
Yeah,
need to do it twice.
that's a good idea.
That will save you a whole lot.
If you smoke, get a chest X-ray.
Just twice.
Mm.
You know what I mean?
Go get basic blood work, and then that'll catch most things.
So piggyback on that real quick before we
Yeah.
read that question. It's like I feel like another reason why those numbers might be the 5-year differences there is probably because we also have fast food on every block. We have just bad food nutrition in our communities.
Lack of knowledge.
Lack
Okay.
of knowledge as well, right?
So with
Right.
that, be careful with that fact, because if you look at poor white neighborhoods,
yeah.
they have access pretty much to the same fast food, and there's more of them. They
Right.
they die at a high click too.
Yeah,
Believe that.
Yeah, so
Believe that.
A lot of times it's more of a class thing than it's a race
Yeah,
thing.
that's a
So
class.
if you
That's
look
more of
at,
a class.
look
Yeah,
at
yeah.
certain
Sure.
class, whether
Right.
they're black or white, they're going to eat
Yeah.
the same bad food too frequently. Because I eat bad food,
I do
but
too.
it's occasionally you got to know
Cheat
when
days.
to do it. Yeah,
we got
so-
motherfucking Bruce Lee over here, and then we
Yeah.
got
Bruce
yeah.
Lee.
this big ass muscular dude over here.
So it's all about
Y'all look
His
fit.
cardio is
Y'all both
fantastic,
look
though.
real fit.
yeah.
His
It's
cardio is
all-
fantastic though.
It's all about moderation, and that's
Is
one
it-
thing we don't realize.
Is that something that's essential as a doctor?
Fuck yes.
You gotta be.
Okay, so for me, I don't know how he feels about it. Because he's got one of those jobs where it's kind of what you're gonna get on a day-to-day basis. Me, like
Yeah.
I work nights.
It's gonna be surprises.
First of all, I work nights. I don't work days. I work nights.
Right.
And here's some of my program director told me resident. He said, if you don't work out in this field, you won't make it.
Right.
The guy runs like 10 miles a day.
You gotta get
right?
there.
Mm.
I work out, man. But I do that anyway.
Mhm.
But it's good that I do it because I look at some of these doctors and I see how slow they move,
Right.
and how burned out they are, and their face. Like, I got these bags, but that's it.
Yeah.
Like, they have just wear and tear on their
Y'all
faces
ripping
and
and
their
running,
bodies,
man.
man. Like,
Absolutely. And I would say with me, like I'm clinic based, so I see my patients. Most of them I see them once a month, sometimes even more. A lot of times I'm telling them, like giving them suggestions what they need to do to improve their life, whether it's lose weight, whether to go physical therapy.
Mhm.
And I want to look the part. If I'm telling you something,
Correct.
Absolutely.
I'm telling you something, and I look sloppy and
Yeah,
shit. It's like,
absolutely.
you're like, who are you? So that's
Right,
what I'm thinking. I
You
wanna look the part.
you about to treat me your fat ass?
I'm
Get
big
the
on
fuck out of here.
I'm big on doctors.
Get
Don't
the
tell
fuck
me you
outta
got
here.
to quit smoking and you
Yeah.
smoke. Like I could smell the cigarette
Yeah.
smoke when you
Yeah.
killing me right now,
Don't
right?
tell me what to do and you ain't doing it.
Yeah,
Like-
exactly.
Like you won't go to a hairstylist who got bad hair, right?
Right.
Like, what you got going
Yeah,
on?
it holds more
Not
weight.
put together.
So
What was that question at the
we
very
got
top?
a couple
the
questions,
preventative?
comments. Somebody
So-
said, "What's a good preventative
Oh.
for calcium-based kidney
So
stones?"
two things: diet and hydrochlorothiazide.
What the fuck is that?
Diet and hydrochlorothiazide.
Hydrochlorothiazide is a
Hydrochlorothiazide.
diuretic. Is a diuretic that will bind the calcium and take it with it as you pee. That'll help prevent what we call calcium oxalate stones. There's two reasons why I know this. One, because I know it. Two, because I've had like 25 kidney stones in my life.
Mm,
Yeah, they suck.
right.
So I
Real
would say for this
All right.
person, definitely diet and also go to your doctor so they can
Go to
Yes.
so they can prescribe you and they can monitor it because
Yeah.
diet and go
The
to your
calcium
doctor.
actually ain't the problem. It's the oxalate.
Yeah.
So calcium preferentially binds, or as it comes together and
Yeah.
grabs onto what we call oxalate, which is in 75% of the foods that you eat.
Yeah.
And it's in high levels or low levels. So you have to know what foods that's in. So you need a doctor who's knowledgeable in that, or a dietitian,
Yeah.
and somebody who's going to prescribe you that medication. And that'll stop. And drink plenty of water, tons
Right
of water, like a gallon a day.
A lot of water.
Yeah.
I'm gonna read it.
I too would like to offer a diagnosis. Make sure you drink a lot of green tea and
No,
put some
no,
turmeric.
No, tea has too much
turmeric.
Tea has
in
too
it.
much oxalate in
No.
it. Tea has too
All
much
right.
oxalate in it.
Dr. Mulatto does not
You
have
were
his-
wrong with
Yeah, I
that.
tried.
You told him what not to do.
I don't know things. I don't know nothing about. I don't know
Do
about
not
none of
follow
that shit.
Dr. Mulatto.
Go
Don't
see your
follow
doctor.
Dr. Mulatto.
Go see your primary care doctor.
So I'm gonna read a question from someone who DM'd me this question.
We got one more question in the comments real quick. Do comorbidities come into play at all with that 5-year gap between the other?
I don't even know what that word is.
Comorbidities means, okay, so when you talk about morbidity and mortality in medicine, morbidity is, think of quality of life, and if you go through something medical, how good will your quality of life be while you're going through it and after, and kind of after it, even though you're still kind of going through it, you're managing it, okay?
Yeah.
Mortality is going to be dying. That's it. So when you say comorbidities,
And your mom says avoid antacid intake.
she's right,
She's
because
right,
because
yeah.
what she's talking about is Tums, basically.
Oh, shout out to mom.
Yeah. So when you talk about comorbidities, you're saying they play anything at all with a 5-year gap. Well, they don't at birth, because you shouldn't really have anything unless you have what we call a congenital issue, an issue at birth.
And
But by the
comorbidities is
time you're
like
10, 12, if you have diabetes or some heart issue, then it could come into play. But that's not actually what we're talking about when we talk about life expectancy at birth. We're talking about, in general, given the entire population,
Yeah.
I'm talking about biostatistics now, on average, what is your life expectancy based on what you look like? That's it. Has nothing to do with any disease state you have, period.
Anything follow up on that?
No, I mean, I agree. It's pretty much, at a certain point, we have to, it's about taking care of yourself.
For sure.
right.
I know there's a bunch of
Preventative.
questions, y'all. We got to keep moving though, because we got a lot to talk about, and we got not enough time. We'll keep
We're at
moving.
30 minutes
Yeah.
left.
We won't make
No,
it
we
in
got
1
time,
thirty.
baby. We got time, baby.
We're gonna have a good
We got as
conversation.
much time as we need.
We're gonna have a good conversation.
We got a lot
but
of
we're not
time.
gonna do it for 2
The,
hours.
the
We're gonna do
medication
it.
he said was HCTZ. That's
Hydrochlorothiazide.
somebody asked what was the name of it. So that's the
Hydrochlorothiazide.
letters HCTZ. That's but also go to your primary care doctor and let them manage all that.
Mm.
Don't listen to us on this podcast.
Find your doctor.
This is
Make
not
sure
legally
there's a demo
binding.
page.
Yeah.
This is like
We're
you're
not
not have,
absolutely.
We're all drinking.
Yeah.
yeah,
Absolutely.
please don't listen.
Don't follow.
Slightly inebriated.
Yes,
So this is a question from
Ask your doctor about the
I don't
things
see
that are
patients
said
like
on this
this, so-
podcast.
Please don't listen to us. Go to your
Yeah,
primary care doctor.
absolutely. So here's a question from someone, my friend Michelle. She sent me a DM. Mitzi is her name. She said,
You probably sent you that so you wouldn't tell the people her name, but
Mm.
there it is.
she wanted to be on the podcast.
Okay.
That's her name. She's actually a nurse. She said, so I'm an RN and a physical therapist, and in all of my education, have I never encountered no libido? Like, what the fuck? I'm 43
Wait.
and I would rather, she has no libido.
She has no libido.
She had no libido. So she's, I'm
Oh.
43 and I'd rather be in my garden perfecting a recipe or composing a sonnet on a piano then think about sex. How do we, as Black women, know the change is happening? Hormones are changing, and these OBGYNs are clueless.
Wait, so she had a libido and it's gone.
It's
is
gone.
what she's saying.
It's gone.
Okay. So
And
you need
obviously-
information for that,
Yeah.
i.e., she actually needs her estrogen and testosterone levels checked, both of them. That's it. I can't give any advice.
Mhm.
I need to know. She needs to know those numbers with her doctor.
Right.
Blood work twice a year.
Blood work.
I'm saying that
That
that's
Blood work.
it catches. I hate to just beat a
So blood work is that how you know your estrogen and
Right.
testosterone?
yeah, because they'll
Blood
check
work.
those different. Like you come in, you tell a doctor you got something going on. They will.
You ain't gotta
order
like go in and
specific-
dunk a basketball or nothing like that too.
No.
What's wrong with you?
They ask you a couple questions like for testosterone.
They don't show you like a man and a
No,
woman.
no.
You be like, which
No,
one?
sir.
Testosterone.
I don't know the test.
Nah.
Dr. Mulatto was learning a lot today.
Yeah, no. They're gonna ask you how you're sleeping, how
Okay.
you're feeling. They're gonna ask you about the quality of your erections.
Yeah.
Those are the type of things to try to figure
The
out.
quality of your erection.
the
So you mean you
quality.
might have to show your dick?
No, you can just tell them.
Here we go.
You don't have to pull it out.
What is your issue?
You might have to.
No,
If they ask about erection, I'm gonna show your
You
dick.
show your
No.
dick all the time.
no.
I've shown
No,
my
no, they
dick
don't-
to the
just
doctor
tell 'em.
before. I had a hernia once.
they believe you. You just tell them about your dick.
So listen, once upon a time, I'd like to tell y'all this.
No.
Once upon a time,
Nope.
I
You
had
can
a
stop.
hernia,
Okay.
Oh, here we go.
and it was a scrotal hernia,
Correct.
right?
Correct.
So you know,
Call it
under
indirect
these circumstances,
hernia.
you
You
gotta
gotta
show your dick.
But,
Sure.
but you don't have to do it every time afterwards.
I know. I felt like it was necessary from then on. Like
Because every time that's part of your.
After you showed your dick
I was
once,
like, I came in. I
you
was like,
feel like that was the
Listen,
litmus test.
when I got
have
another
to
doctor-
show it every time.
when I
now.
got another doctor, I was like, when do I show my dick?
No.
Like,
you ask that question out loud?
yeah, absolutely.
Oh.
Just bring your
I
history.
feel like therapy.
You don't want to see my
Like-
dick?
No, bring
I
your
know I
history.
only got a headache, but you don't need to see my dick.
So this is a
All right,
legit
whatever.
question. This is a legit question.
Go ahead, yeah.
Do men have estrogen?
Yes.
Yes. And women have testosterone.
But our
Somebody in the
So-
comments
so say it
said
again?
Remy is why I
And-
don't
and
treat
women
adults.
have
have testosterone.
testosterone.
but if men have more estrogen, they will start growing other like female anatomy parts, right? Or
Yeah.
how does it work? Because if a man takes a lot of estrogen, will he start growing breasts?
This is an
Yes.
involved conversation,
right?
but sure.
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
Hypothetically,
Yes.
I mean,
Yeah.
they
Yes.
would.
Yes.
Huh.
Yeah.
Not that I want to do that. I was just curious about the difference between estrogen and testosterone.
So, for example, and this is somewhat counterintuitive, macroly, like in the big picture, but if people take testosterone supplements for too long,
Mhm,
right?
mhm.
the cholesterol gets shunted into a pathway that makes more estrogen, and they get what we call gynecomastia or breasts.
Right. So if you're taking testosterone, you need to have an estrogen blocker.
Correct.
Because the
Mm.
testosterone's up, your body's going to naturally try to compensate by bringing the estrogen up. So,
Mm.
or you're going to have,
Say that again.
so you're adding testosterone to your body.
Mhm.
Your body's naturally going to try to compensate by creating more estrogen.
Okay.
So you need to
Mm.
block that estrogen if you want to get the benefits
To-
from the testosterone.
to-
or
to-
or you're
Right.
going to have, you're gonna have
Okay.
boobs.
You're gonna have
you have
what we
moves.
call-
You have moves.
Yeah, moves.
Moves.
Have you seen
Yeah,
Fight Club?
moves.
You're gonna have
Yeah.
moves.
Yeah.
All right.
So what
Mm.
in your opinion, what's an area of health that Black men should take more seriously?
Prostate health.
Always.
Prostate checks.
Prostate checks.
Get that PSA checked. PSA is a blood test.
When are you supposed to do
At
that?
40, right? Starting at 40 or later?
Yeah,
later?
blood
I
test?
think
Sorry.
40 is a
Wait,
good.
wait,
I think 40 is a good age for that.
People
They
are always
don't
worried
stick a
about
finger in your ass no more.
No,
Okay,
we
so
don't
the
need
thing
that.
that everybody's worried about the finger up the butt. Okay, that is not even that helpful. Like the
It doesn't-
PSA is a blood work.
They was doing it for fun. Is that what you're saying?
Yeah, but before they realized that there's
Holy
a
shit!
blood.
In
There's
the
a blood
18th
test.
century, that was
Somebody
fine.
might have
Yeah,
might have a class action lawsuit.
No, man. It ain't.
I would say
Crash that thought,
30,
crash that
30,
thought.
30, 35. Just it's a blood test. PSA.
30-35. Fuck, I'm late.
Yeah.
Actually, so I
let's
got
get
my.
that done.
I have a history of prostate cancer in my family, like primarily, like from the top down. Grandfather, uncle, my father.
Mm.
I got my PSA checked.
I haven't gotten a prostate check yet. I need to go ahead and get
I
that
want to
done.
say 6 months ago or a little more. It was perfect. All right, and I'm 45.
Yeah.
Right now, but I based that on what their average age of diagnosis was, which is 60 plus. So if you have a history, so let's say you have someone in your family, a primary family member. What we mean is a father. I'll even say a grandfather or maybe a brother.
Mhm.
Okay. Let's say they got diagnosed at 50, 55. You should be getting yours checked now.
Mhm.
Diagnosed with what?
prostate.
Prostate cancer.
You should be getting yours checked now. Like, go and get the blood test.
So that's all that's for is prostate cancer.
You don't have to show your dick, and there's no finger in your ass for that.
I want to show my dick.
Well, I feel like
you're gonna take the prostate. They might as well see my dick.
I feel like you're a
Come on,
bit of a problem.
we already in the arena.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right.
Even if you don't have a family history, just tell your doctor to check a PSA.
And they'll do it. If you ask,
family
they'll do
history.
it. They
Just
need
tell
to.
them that.
Like, because what harm does it do them to add that? Because for real, that's more money. Like, just add the test.
I have asked for things from my physician. This is a few years ago, and he was like, "Well, why do you need that? Why do you want to do that? You don't need that." Because I felt like, listen, bro, like shit's changing and shit is happening that's not supposed to be happening.
And this is
like,
I'm peeing 2 more times a night.
I need these tests for my own sanity, right?
Shit.
And he didn't feel like he wanted to do them. He ended up doing them anyway. But it's like, to your point, it's like, why not doing it? There's got to be more money for them.
Yeah, I saw a patient about 6 months ago. He was 47, got his first PSA checked 2 months prior, stage 4 prostate cancer. Black man with a history. And it's like, and I told him, and he was in the military and some other stuff. I was like, no one ever checked the PSA? Like, he's like, no, the first time checked it, and it was, and I haven't seen him since.
Yo, man,
that's not really a good sign.
30 might not be the wrong age. So we had a homeboy whose name I'm going to say that got diagnosed with it on accident because it was added to his labs by accident. They got diagnosed with aggressive prostate cancer. Like, honestly, the guidelines have been changing as time has gone on.
Yeah.
When you get your first colonoscopy, chest x-ray, screening for this, screening for that, we probably need to drop the ages. Like 50 is kind of our general age. 40 needs to be our max age. It actually needs to be between 30 and 40. He's right. It needs to be between 30
to 40. Get your shit
30 to 40 is
and you ain't got to get a finger up the ass. Don't worry about it.
No, Remy.
You ain't got to do that.
But it's not
unless
that
you like
bad.
it. I
it's
mean,
not that bad. It's just a medical
I'm excited.
procedure.
I can't wait to get my prostate checked.
Oh.
What about
have you seen Road Trip?
I don't think I have.
You should watch it. It might be right up your alley.
All right, I'm watching it tonight.
What about black women? Like, what is something that they should be doing?
I mean, breast
more?
cancer is
I would
one
say
thing.
I would say
breast and uterine.
Like
breast and uterine cancer.
But isn't breast cancer something that all women typically have at the same rate?
Well,
do black women have it more than white women?
So it's funny.
Or Latino women?
With women and men, when you look at the incidence of prostate cancer, incidence of breast cancer, they're about the same. Okay, so you need to get screened for it earlier because when it comes to breast tissue and prostate tissue, of all the organs, of all the tissue, it's continually changing over time. Every year, it changes a little bit, and you need to be taking a look at it.
Yeah, like I said, the instance meaning like both races, we get the same amount of times it pops up, but we die more because we get caught later as well.
Yeah.
So it's also the stage. Like if they're catching it stage 1 or even before that, we're stage 3 because we're not doing the medical follow-ups and doing the blood work and the visits. So something's funny. Like I saw you 6 months ago, this number's a little off. Versus if you see the person every 4 years, they don't really have a baseline of what the number should be. Because you need a baseline. So when that baseline changes, all right, time to get into the mode of, all right, let's figure out what's going on here. So that's what it is. You got to catch it early.
My aunt passed away. This is, we're in 2023. Can't remember. It's maybe 2017, 2018. And she was one of those people who ate healthy.
Cervical cancer.
And she passed away from stomach cancer. One moment when she finally went in, it was too far gone.
That's a genetic problem.
And she was here one day, gone a month later.
That's a genetic problem. So stomach cancer is actually quite rare. Okay, it's rare enough that we don't really rate it. So you can't run from your poison. Yeah. Okay, but you don't have to help it along.
Gotcha.
So I say this a lot to a lot of people. So this is where preventative medicine comes in. This is where prevention of lifestyle comes in. All right, because diet, for example, absolutely has an effect on your cancer risk for certain types of cancers.
Yeah,
it's a fact. Smoking has a risk. Drinking has a risk. There's just you can't get away. You can't get away from it, man.
Absolutely,
you can't get away from it. Genetics are going to be what they are, but you don't have to help it.
Gotcha.
All right, and Gabby, you're saying right here that cervical cancer. Yeah, that's very important for Black women. Like get those Pap smears. Absolutely, you got. That's just another preventative. Just another test that you catch it early, you can treat it. You wait too long, you're in trouble. So yeah, get those Pap smears, ladies and guys. Get your PSAs and finger if that's what you.
That's
That's
right.
your bag.
If that's your bag, Remy,
That's
once
the
a
thing.
month, go get it.
Yeah, yeah.
But, and
That's
Selena had something about leading black women for death from black women's heart disease. Well, here's an issue, right? Once the women don't die of heart disease before they're really 55, 60 years old, and the issue is their estrogen.
Mm.
When their estrogen drops, they lose the elasticity of their arteries.
Mm.
They lose a protective effect that estrogen has. So we really don't have any idea how it works. Okay. And so now, with that said, you could talk to your doctor about estrogen replacement, but then you increase your risk for breast cancer
Mm.
as you get older with estrogen replacement. We have no solution for this.
Mm.
There's no solution for this. It sucks. I have no answer.
And that's also the reason why men have higher incidence of cardiovascular
Correct.
heart disease, because
Correct.
we don't have as much estrogen as them. Estrogen is
Yeah.
protective, heart protective. So we don't have it. So that's why we drop dead from heart attacks
Estrogen
earlier.
protects your heart.
Yes.
That's wild.
We're learning all kinds of shit on
That's
tonight's
wild.
episode.
Yeah.
That's such a wild, like, it's so like,
It's an interesting fact.
It's
And I
deeper
didn't-
than just
and the funny
science.
thing is I didn't learn that in medical school.
yeah.
So men,
You learned that in the bedroom, didn't you?
I mean, no, I learned it in medical school, but I
Yeah.
wasn't at the school when I learned it.
yeah,
So-
I got you.
so men probably don't get enough estrogen then, right?
I don't know what you're saying.
Like, do our bodies naturally give us?
Do men need more
Like, do we
estrogen?
need more?
no,
Because it causes
Okay.
all type of other problems.
no,
Oh,
no.
okay.
I mean, do we not
That's a
know?
legit question, though. That's a legit
I
question.
kind of see
If
what
you're
he's
saying,
getting at,
if you're
though.
saying that the estrogen protects heart, then
Listen
why
to me.
aren't we
Just slow
taking
down,
more?
slow down.
I'm asking a question.
It's 2023. When did the Earth form? About 5-6 billion years ago.
I don't
Probably.
know, but
All
Neil
I'm saying
deGrasse
is that
Tyson might know.
humans been here a long time, independent of what you believe about evolution or creationism. We don't need to add or take away more estrogen or add or take away more testosterone. The science just has to advance to figure out how to deal with the issue.
Mm.
That's it.
Gotcha. Okay, I'm with it. So,
Is there a problem that is caused by, or you say having not enough estrogen?
Oh, for sure. Your sex life will suck if you're with a woman who's in menopause and she's dry as fuck all the time.
Right.
Yeah.
So
There
you
you
just
go.
got to be
But
cognizant.
they got pills for that though.
No, yeah, it's called estradiol. Yeah, they have
Yeah.
pills for that. Yeah, it's
Just be
estrogen
cognizant.
Get it.
replacement
Get it, lady.
or KY
Get
jelly.
that
I mean,
wop
you just got to deal, man.
Get
It is
that
what
walk
it is.
back.
Like,
Get that walk
There's
back.
also lubrication. You know what I'm saying?
right.
Like, it's fine.
Yes.
So this is more.
Perfectly normal.
Yeah, absolutely. You said and fun.
And fine.
And fine.
and
Right,
fine.
right.
And fun. And fun. So this is more for you, Iman. What type of health issues should people absolutely go to the emergency room for and not wait too long to do?
All right.
Because
So,
we have. I've
as my
heard.
friend here is fond of saying, I deal in absolutes. But when it
Okay.
comes to people's health, I do
Mhm.
not.
Mhm.
So I deal in absolutes when it comes to bullshit. When it comes to people's like human form, not okay. You did that, didn't you?
A little bit.
You're
Sorry.
an asshole.
It was unintentional.
No, I'm
Like,
glad you pointed out. Thank you, Gabby.
we-
Because he's an asshole.
We deal with each other all the time. So this is just conversations we have all
Anyway,
the
I
time.
call that the
Listen,
hitter. HITA.
okay, so-
He
so,
is the asshole.
Here's the thing. I can't tell someone. I can't tell someone what not to come to the ER for. Like, listen, I have my quirks. And I have my,
Let me
and I
say
have
this,
my
let me say this.
biases.
The
But
reason I asked that question because I think there are times where people who have serious issues wait too long to go, and then there are people who have non-serious issues and end up in there waste people's time.
I say a breathing, chest pain, kind of a neurological, like an acute neurological, like, oh, my right arm don't work no more.
abdominal pain too.
Go to the ER.
Yeah.
Like, because those are the type, you talked about earlier, things that can take you out immediately.
Mhm.
Any of that type of stuff can take you out of there in 48 hours. Go to the
For sure.
ER. Yeah, just do
Like really, you do 24 to 72 tops hours from dying.
Mm.
Like if you got if you're 25 years old, you have unexplained shortness of breath and chest pain out of the blue for no reason,
Mhm.
you need to come to ER. Now, 9 times out of 10, I say 99 times out of 100, that's gonna be some sort of weird anxiety or chest wall pain
Mhm.
or indigestion. But one of those times I'm gonna look at an EKG and you're having a fucking heart attack
Yeah.
at 25, 27 years old.
Mhm.
Absolutely.
I've seen that several times.
Absolutely. I've gone to the ER 2 or 3 times with chest pain. It's been like I said, skeletal wall, stuff like that.
But
Nothing
it hurts like a motherfucker. And
I'm not
Seriously.
gonna play a game because it might be that one chance. I'm not trying to catch
Listen,
it.
I have chest pains all the time. I'm like, damn.
If
Like,
you
am
get
I
a
having
bubble-
Left sided chest
Just
pain.
gas.
Yeah, if you get a bubble, here's the thing. If you get a,
You
if
don't
you get
go
a,
over to the Memorial Hospital around
Yeah.
the corner.
But hold on now, hold on.
If you
hold
get a
on.
bubble,
Cause y'all scare me a little bit though.
Yeah.
Like it's got to be levels to it, right? 'Cause how do you know the difference between indigestion, gas,
it's called testing.
and heart attack?
So if you,
You
come,
don't
so
know.
listen,
if I just got
you don't know.
but if I just had if I had a pain on a Saturday and it goes away, I don't want tell me to go to the emergency room.
If it goes away,
so
Yeah.
so here's the thing.
Intensity matters. Like
Intensity has to
crushing,
matter. Yeah.
Just irradiate to your left. You're still playing. You're still taking a chance.
The
Still
story
taking a
does
chance
matter.
regardless.
Like I can
Yeah.
a classic story, a young person, I can take that.
Yeah.
I can take that. But if I got a 40-year-old woman
Yeah.
talking about some weird shit, I gotta worry because women actually present differently with chest pain on average than men do.
Mm.
Let me tell you something. I actually had a 73-year-old or 78-year-old guy. I can't remember what it was. Came in, he was just tired. This motherfucker was just tired. For 3 days, he was tired. I had his EKG. He had the weirdest, what we call he was a tachycardia, fast rhythm, and it was very obscure. It was very weird looking.
Mm.
Right? His heart labs came back that indicated heart attack, and it was through the roof.
Mm.
And all he was tired. He was sitting there chilling. He had no pain whatsoever. He died 3 days later.
Damn.
Mm.
After I treated him, he died 3 days later. He had taken too much damage to his heart. You can come in with weird symptoms and be having a really messed up situation. There are certain disease states that can look like anything. Okay, heart attacks, and a blood clot in your lungs, a rupture of the main artery of your body from the heart to the abdomen can look like that. You just don't know. So you have to test not just based on the story, but it's also based on age, based on how this person is looking, based on how weird the story is.
Yeah.
Like it matters.
How do y'all as doctors, and I'm not saying that y'all have experienced this, but you just said someone passed away 3 weeks later. How do y'all emotionally deal with when you lose a patient? Because you watch TV and TV always makes it this grand thing of the doctors feeling horrible, and maybe that's the case. But it has to be at some point when you feel like you question yourself sometimes, like, damn, what could I have done different? Like, how do y'all deal with that?
Compartments. You got to compartmentalize.
Yeah.
Like,
Put that in a
you
box.
have to be, yeah, exactly. And you got to leave that box at work. You can't bring that through the threshold of your house, bring it to your family.
Mm.
You have to be a master compartmentalizer to deal with that. And also, you learn pretty early on, first thing in medical school, as you spoke about, dissecting that body. So you see the cycle. You know that we're all going to end up there.
right,
Yeah.
So you kind of realize that it be like that sometimes.
right.
No matter what you do, sometimes it be like that. Sometimes you just catch a bad one. And we're all going to end up there. So that kind of helps you to deal with knowing your own mortality.
Yeah.
But also, you got to leave that, put that in the box, leave that in the trunk of your car, and then, go about.
I think that's a good segue into decision making. So we're all going to end up off this earth.
For sure.
Right?
100%.
However, you don't have to hasten it with dumb shit. Okay?
You
don't
mean
have
like
to eat.
jumping out of an airplane?
You don't have to eat at Taco Bell every day.
Oh yeah, for sure.
You mean like the motherfucker who had his ass out in the car and he
Listen,
fell
I'm
down and got
going
ran
to tell
over
you
by?
a really messed up sounding thing my dad told me one day. You see a lot of old people and you see a lot of fat people, but you don't see a lot of old fat people. That's a fact too. You don't.
Yeah.
Name all the old fat people you see that are 65 plus. Nope. You just don't see it because lifestyle matters.
Mhm.
Like we can talk about, we should probably talk about the uninsured in this country a little bit.
Mhm.
In how many people go to the ER and use us as primary care, how many people preferentially go to say their pain management doc versus their doc who's managing their hypertension and
Well,
their diabetes.
are they using you as a primary care because they don't have a family physician, because they don't have insurance?
There's no insurance.
Yeah, no insurance.
Well, actually, I see a lot of people who don't have a doctor who have insurance.
Yeah.
They just don't want to take the time to
Yeah,
go.
they don't make it a priority to go see the primary.
they'd
They
rather-
wait till it gets rough
Yeah,
and they go see
exactly.
him.
Exactly. So, but you cannot live a life commensurate to badness.
Yeah.
All right. Like in coming from a guy like me, I'm naturally slim, whatever. You know, I mean, I have hypertension. I take hydrochlorothiazide. I also have kidney stones, so it works for 2 things. I have that. I do that. I'm fine with saying that. But like, I work out.
Genetics are genetics. Though.
I work out. But there's a difference. So I'll give you an example. When you have a person who's a obese person, right, and they're fat, the fat on their body is on the outside of their body, right? So if I do a CT scan,
you're talking about me right now. By the way.
I'm not. I'm actually not.
I'm joking.
If I do a CT, I take cuts of your body. If I take cuts of your body and take a look, and I take a look and I see the fat's mostly on the outside of your body, that means you actually weren't meant to be that big. Right. If I see the fat is on the inside of your body, when I'm talking about what we call visceral fat, fat around the organs, you probably were genetically meant to be that big. Okay. When I see the difference, I know who is not doing what they probably should.
Yeah.
So essentially, you can test for that. You can test for whether or not it's your obesity is genetic.
Are you big boned?
Yeah. Because some high blood pressure and diabetes goes away when people lose weight, flat out.
Yeah. But a lot of it is ignorance as well. People don't necessarily realize what they should eat. They don't realize, and also they don't realize what's going to happen if they continue to eat a certain way. Right. So it's education is also very important. Also, you know, having the right food available.
Right. And economics matters.
Economics, you know, classism. Like,
because me and him, we can go to Fresh Market and get what we want.
Yeah.
Other motherfuckers got to go to McDonald's if they want to eat.
Yeah, exactly. McDonald's.
That 4 for $4 at Wendy's.
You can spend $6 and you're good. Family good for 8-10 hours.
Yeah.
Eating healthy, you're gonna be hungry again in 90 minutes. Sometimes you eat that salad that So and it's costly. It's messed up. But just what can you do? Just try to educate. Try to tell people. And somebody said earlier that they feel like doctors are kind of afraid to tell their patients to lose weight.
I'm not.
I think it's all about the rapport. You know what I'm saying? Like, because I see he doesn't really have much rapport with patients because he doesn't have
momentary.
Yeah, he doesn't have continuity. You know what I mean? He doesn't see them all the time. I got patients I've been seeing for 6-7 years, so they know me, I know them, so we can have these discussions and say, hey, you know what might be helpful. You know, if you get the stomach down a little bit, it takes a little pressure off the back. Also, the medications work a little bit better when there's not as much of you for it to go through. So those are the type of conversations you have, but that you have to work your way to it. Like,
so what I heard you say is you have bedside manners, and Iman does not have bedside manners. Is that what I heard you say?
No, that's not what he said.
No comment.
They saying they spend more time.
Two things. He did not say that. But also, while you out of line, you're right.
Right.
You out of line, my nigga.
You're right.
So listen, just so I'm clear, that's a good segue. So I have a story. I was working in Sarasota, right? And I saw a woman. She had some knee problems. And she'd been having these problems for a while. She was a big woman. So at the end of it all, I diagnosed she's got osteoarthritis. She's got wear and tear. I said, listen, you're probably not going to, I gave it to her as best as possible. I said, listen, you're probably not going to like what I'm going to say, but your body is feeling your weight.
Yeah.
Your hips and your knees are feeling. What you guys got to understand is you're genetically predisposed to a certain amount of bone density, a certain amount of tissue that you can actually handle. And once you go above that threshold, you will start to feel it and your body will break down over time.
For sure.
Okay. Despite your muscles compensating, what you need to understand is that people who are very large, their musculature can actually handle it. They can't use it the way somebody who would use it in, say, an athletic way.
Yeah.
But they have actually good musculature to deal with it, but it reaches a limit. Okay. So with that said, I told her, I said, hey, you really need to lose some weight because your knees will lie. She sent a complaint to my boss in the nursing. Then I called her fat. I said, bro, I was trying to help her. And my boss sent me an email like, we don't handle the truth well because I'm fat also. He's like, I'm like, dude, I'm like, yo, like I was trying to help her. She couldn't handle it.
It's not the right situation.
So he's got 3-4 years. I got a moment to try to help a person. And when I try, it's a 50-50. It can go left or right. Like, it's
you probably should just leave that alone.
You gotta establish some trust first. You know what I'm saying? She gotta know that you're not talking shit.
Like I got an actual troll for that. I was like, dude, I was helping her. Like,
it was good advice.
So let's not do that no more.
I haven't.
Okay,
Like, literally,
let's not do that.
that was 2 years ago. I
Yeah,
have
that's
not
a wrap
done
on
that
that.
since.
He learned his
It's a
lesson.
wrap on that.
What's the craziest thing y'all have experienced as a doctor?
You don't want to hear that from me.
Have you, so I'm gonna break it down a little bit more. Have y'all
Kinda do,
ever,
though.
have you ever seen fetishes gone wrong? Over
Shit
your
shoved up
course.
somebody's ass.
If you haven't seen the fetish, but what's the craziest thing you've seen in the doctor, in like as a doctor?
Did you say
That you can
fetishes?
share.
Fetish.
Like some, like if you do an
Maybe-
X-ray
maybe
and they
somebody-
got something up their ass,
maybe-
you like,
I've seen that.
why you got a motherfucker?
Yeah.
I've
That's
seen
him.
that. I mean, I've
Yeah.
seen
Is that a Zephyr Hills bottle in your
All right.
ass? Like,
So y'all want entertainment, so I'll give you a little. I had a guy come in once who had a figurine. Like, so think of a ball, right? Like a clear ball. And there's a panther figurine. It was stuck up his ass.
A panther?
Yeah.
Panther
For
figurine.
A clear panther?
You know how many
figurine?
times I've had to cut? Listen, man, I've seen a lot of
How'd you get that
badness.
out?
I sent him to surgery. I didn't.
Wow.
It was
They
like,
had
a
to
hand's
go into
length
his-
in there. I couldn't do that.
How far up his ass was it?
Far enough.
Far enough.
I had to get a
So
CT.
the point-
scan.
the point of no
they had
return,
to-
I
They had to cut
Yeah,
through.
no.
abdomen.
No, they put him on the table, put him in the lithotomy position, which is
Uh-huh.
legs up, and they
Wow.
went in and got it. I
Oh,
wasn't
they
gonna
went
do
up
it.
his ass.
Yeah, that's on.
Yes.
That's the only way to get out.
Wow.
With
Yeah.
a hand, like, or like a fucking.
I,
Why
had
do
no- I
people
wasn't
stick
there,
that-
Remy. I
Oh, I'm
don't
sorry.
know
I just
what
want to
they
know the
did.
process.
What?
I still know how you get that out.
What
Oh,
is
man,
the-
y'all are ridiculous. Like,
what
this is
the
not
what is the thing about sticking things up your ass though? Like I don't
because the
understand.
prostate has a ton of nerves that can lead to ejaculation. That's why people do shit like that.
Oh, you shouldn't have told me that. I'm just-
dick out.
Right,
I'm just
yeah.
playing.
Listen,
I don't shove things into
there's
my body.
nothing wrong with ass play.
Hey, whatever.
But
Yo,
like,
I don't
panthers up your
understand.
ass, though,
Just make sure it's something that's.
Let's focus
Something
here.
that can be retrieved.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You know, that's-
So you've
Lots of
never seen
things.
anything crazy in your life, in your field, in your industry practice?
No, not really. Like that's.
That's not. It's more,
Nah,
it's
like, I'm
emergency
more
shit.
like I'm hurting and things like that nature. Nothing crazy. Yeah.
Okay.
But I picked the field that was not emergent.
Yeah.
not important.
He's like, y'all
I-
not about to
I-
have
I-
that.
I attract
Y'all
chaos.
not-
Yeah, I'm
I
like,
was
hey,
driving to
you
work
know.
one day. I saw a guy who had flipped it, two guys who had flipped their van over, whatever, moving truck over, whatever. Motherfucker was decapitated in his hoodie. He was
Damn.
decapitated. I got out to help the situation. He was dead right there. The other
God
guy
damn.
was laying back on the front of the hood with a hole in his brain and spitting brains out of his mouth.
Damn.
Like, and that stuff haunts me to this day. I've had nightmares about that shit.
What kind of accident? Like, what did they
A
hit?
car accident, man. It was just a bad one. It was a bad one.
But shouldn't I know the hospitals have this, like, you know, psychiatrists and stuff like that and counselors, but shouldn't doctors have their own personal, like, counseling that they go to talk about the shit they see and stuff y'all deal with?
I
It's gotta be super stressful.
I think everybody should have a counselor or therapist,
100%.
regardless of your field. But yeah,
True.
yeah,
That's
yeah.
from Dr. Jeffrey Jones, MD, right there.
Yeah,
Everybody.
needs to talk to somebody.
Do y'all do y'all talk, like, have you ever had a situation where you had maybe early in your career where something bothered you and you had to talk to someone about it?
I gotta be honest. I actually have some PTSD from what I do because I've seen a lot of badness. I mean a lot.
In the emergency
I've
room,
seen-
I
I've seen
imagine
a
you see a
person
lot of
dismembered
bad
in every
shit.
which way possible while they're still breathing and thrashing on the table. So I've got some issues, but
Yeah.
I'm okay. Like I just don't talk about them, and it is what it is. Like because it's just part of the. It's like guys who go off to war. Like
Yeah.
I just kind of
But
deal
it's
with it.
not talking, but
Compartmentalization.
it's not talking about it is a good thing though.
I could talk about it, but like I didn't do the harm. The difference between me and guys who are in the military is I didn't do the harm myself,
Yeah.
so I can compartmentalize a little bit better.
Mm-hmm.
That's different.
Yeah,
It's just different, so it's okay.
It seems like at the very least, y'all should have like you know how they do like the group circle and everybody just kind of shares stories. I think they do like Alcoholics Anonymous. They should have like Emergency Anonymous or something like that, where it's like, yo, like this crazy shit happened, and I need to tell somebody about it so that everybody can, you know, what I mean, understand how I feel about it because I haven't really processed it. If you need that, you know, I don't know.
Well, I know we've gone over our time, right?
Oh, no.
man.
Oh,
Don't worry
no.
about it.
But
listen,
what
talk.
I want to hit people with, and I know Jeff was probably going to be in agreement with this, is like
We are very light skinned up here.
Like,
Hey,
yeah,
how you
yeah,
doing?
yeah. Like
There's
the
all light skin.
preventative aspect of medicine. So what I'm saying is that, like, listen. So let's just look. There's 332 million people in America, in the United States of America, including Alaska, Hawaii, and Puerto Rico. Okay. If you look at the number of people who went to the emergency department in the last few years, it's over 100. It's half that.
Yeah.
Though half those people go to emergency every year, and about 20% of those people, 20% of Americans, 20% go at least once a year to the emergency department. And that's where they stopped at. They didn't actually check to see how many times those people went. They've gone that many times.
I can't remember
So-
last time I've gone to the emergency
So
room.
the thing about that is this. I remember Keanu Reeves said something. You cannot run from your poison. You can't. Whatever's gonna kill you is gonna fucking take you out.
Especially
You
if
can
let
believe
it.
in fate. You can believe in whatever you want.
Yeah.
Whatever's gonna kill you is gonna kill you. But you do not have to help it along.
Mm.
All right. So I try to live a life myself, and he does so as well, to a degree where you're active, you imbibe, you take in the right things. You have your cheat days. Like shit, just Saturday I was eating fried food. I had sworn off fried foods. I couldn't help myself. That was so good, and I was kicking it. Whatever.
Fried foods
You
are
know what I'm saying?
delicious.
Whatever. But like, I don't do that shit on a regular
It
basis.
can't be regular.
You know, I drink two things. I drink water and alcohol, and my alcohol intake is less.
Yeah.
Okay, those are the two. I don't drink soda. I don't drink a bunch of sugar. I don't imbibe a bunch of sugar. I don't do that.
Y'all
You
don't do,
have to-
Y'all don't do no Celsius every now and then.
No, I don't. You have to care
I like
about
maybe
what.
Celsius
Listen,
every now and then.
Yeah.
especially if you don't have insurance, and this is
Yeah.
important.
Especially.
If you do not have health insurance, you have to prevent yourself having the need to go to the ER or the doctor.
Yeah.
Okay. To do that, you need to work out, drink plenty of water, okay, and pay attention to how you feel. And if you feel bad, go to the doctor. That's fine. But yeah,
And even that cuts your risk down, but it's still
correct.
not fully
It's not
preventative.
fully preventative.
Because
No.
you could be working
You
out.
still gotta
and-
see a doctor
Yeah,
for that.
you,
You still gotta-
break your ankle.
I
flip on the
remember
treadmill, you got
back
a
in-
doctor. So.
Back in Virginia, man, when I was a personal training manager, there was this guy who came into the gym every day. Like this guy was like a marathoner, 5K or 10K person.
Died of a heart attack.
He never smoked a day in his life. Ended up getting throat cancer,
Well,
and
that's
he
a genetic
he
issue.
died like a few
Or
months
he got
afterwards.
HPV from eating some
Just
shit.
crazy.
I mean, like honestly, like
Whoa.
Yeah, I mean,
I'm not
sometimes,
kidding.
like you said, sometimes you do your best and you still catch a break.
You
Yep.
still catch a break, man.
Sure.
That
But
happens.
what can you do? I mean, you did your best. Like both me and him, we're doing our best to try it, but something happens. It's called a break. We tried it, gave it our best go. You know,
Mhm.
and that's all you can ask for.
You just gotta live your life best you can.
Hey,
So there's been a lot of talk lately about like artificial
I
intelligence
had some of that.
and like robots, etc.
Mhm.
Have y'all seen like any impact with like artificial intelligence or robots in your industry? Because I imagine like having a robot that can do surgery would be an amazing thing to have.
it's already there. It's been there for years.
Yeah.
Actually, it's getting better.
Getting better.
So there's
Yeah.
a surgical robot.
I thought it was
Probably controlled by a
controlled
human.
by a human.
It's
controlled by a human.
Oh, I think
for
he's saying
like
more like a
Yeah.
robot just.
Yeah,
Oh,
it's
doing it
not.
by
Yeah, it's
itself.
not autonomous.
Yeah,
But still
yeah,
operate
yeah.
by
Autonomous.
humans.
But it's getting there. It's gonna get there.
Yeah.
It's gonna get
Are
there.
y'all seeing anything with that or like artificial intelligence, anything at all in the
Yeah.
industry?
I haven't seen it yet.
Not yet. Not yet.
But
There-
I think it's coming for all industries.
not yet.
Think
But
so?
I am worried. I am worried about like artificial intelligence being the diagnosing part of medicine.
Yeah.
But
People going on Chat GPT talking about I got such
yeah.
and such
The
and
thing-
such and
well,
such.
the thing-
Absolutely, yeah.
the thing is, man, when you can miss a part of the diagnosis if you take the humanity out of it.
Mhm.
Okay, like you can miss a part of it and you won't probably treat the full human. When you talk about doctoring, like there's a difference between being able to pass your boards,
For
being what we
sure.
call board certified, and
Mhm.
doctoring.
Yeah.
I try to tell my residents this. It's
Yeah.
a total difference between that. You gotta be able to treat the whole person, psychosocially, psychologically, emotionally, and biologically.
Yeah.
AI could probably get to the biological 90% of the time.
Correct.
But they can't deal with the other shit. And that matters.
Yeah.
Getting to know a motherfucker.
Absolutely, and they can't read some of the unspoken things. You know,
Mhm.
you're dealing with like they could
Body
give the
language,
information, body language,
yeah.
but there's certain stuff you're like somebody gives you an answer and you're like
something you're not
then it
telling
makes
me.
you dig a little more
Yeah.
because the answer they gave you kind of know it's some bullshit or there's something more you need to get to. AI couldn't do that. They're just going to give you the answer based on what they said. You know? So that's one thing that you can miss out.
I don't ask Chat GPT almost nothing. Like I hate people. Like self-diagnosing has got to be the worst thing possible. Like WebMD, like who created that shit? Was it the doctor who created that shit? Because I read that, I'm like, yo,
It was definitely a doctor.
Stay
I go there
away
with
from
a neck issue.
Stay away.
And be
It was
thinking I'm
actually
dying.
me. I
I'm
created
dying
WebMD.
tomorrow.
Stay away from WebMD because, like I said, you don't have the knowledge to isolate it into what it is. So you come in there, and you're like, doc, you know, it's good to have the information, but you don't know how to decipher it.
Yeah, you got to be careful with alarmism.
Yeah, and pull it
Yeah.
in. You know, they come in and they say this, like, well, okay.
At the end of the day, I think all you really need is like you need like I think what people would want is like somewhere where I could put in my symptoms and just tell me like, okay, go to the emergency room or go see my doctor.
But this
or
isn't
something
Star
like
Trek.
that.
We're not in the 23rd century, my man.
Mm.
That's not how this works.
Not yet.
We can't
Not
do
yet.
that right now.
Not yet.
We can't do
Yeah.
that right now.
Yeah.
Like, I would be fine if we get to that point.
I
would be fine if we get to that point where we don't have to deal with dying. Disease is not the issue. We just get old. That would be fine.
so
But we're not there.
So I'm in the tech
Right.
industry. I don't work with AI specifically, but what I see on the side of like where AI could possibly work is, and somebody was talking about this recently, something like how AI will work for like an individual. Like if you have your own personal AI and this AI learns about me. And then I had a doctor. I was talking to a doctor once and I asked him like, how do you feel about just healthcare in general? And he was like, well, what we really need is for healthcare to understand like that particular person and essentially diagnose that person based on everything that they've gone through. Whereas it's kind of just like, this is how humans are and this is how humans work. And these are the diagnoses based on like human history, not necessarily your particular history or even your family history. So like if an AI can at least get as much information or data on a particular person, especially like their history, and then everything that you've experienced up to that point, if you have like an AI doctor or whatever it is, then I could see it being something that's useful, but it's not there yet. Like we're not even close, not even nearly close.
Definitely not close yet. So, any final thoughts, man? Anything y'all want to finish up on?
I got some questions.
I would say, based on what he just said, like that is what humans have been doing. The problem is we get old and we're unable to keep up. When you talk about something like AI, it's immortal. It'll be able to keep the data forever and add to it. We can't do that. Our brains deteriorate as we age. Our brains are amazing. They're amazing. I can
Most
recall
powerful
facts
machine
of
on earth.
bullshit that makes no sense. But eventually, that's gonna fucking fade
for sure.
Yeah, for
like,
sure.
but when you talk about AI, that won't fade, and I'm fine with it as long as AI doesn't decide to like make us their slaves. I'm
Take your
good.
job, yeah. like Terminator.
I'm good. But
Yeah.
unfortunately, I'm a doomsayer, and I feel like it's gonna happen. Like it is what it is.
Aren't we all at this point? All the fucking
Well,
movies
I
are saying
am.
that. That's what's
He's
gonna
not.
happen.
He's
really?
like, oh, bring it on. He's fine with it.
You with it, huh? So
not
have you used? Do you use ChatGPT though?
at all.
No.
Not at all.
One more question, man. What you got?
Well, I actually have two questions,
Answer
but they
it-
don't have to be
answer
long
it
with
as
it.
quick as possible.
They don't have to be long with it. Shit, this is a big question though. If you would like to share, do you have any thoughts on the opioid crisis?
Crisis.
The crisis.
I don't have any more thoughts on it.
Florida at
I had
one
no
point
more
was
thoughts
really
on that.
big
Had on the
opioid.
fucking crack crisis. Get the fuck out of here with the opioid
All right.
crisis.
Well,
Get the fuck out. Like,
You know why-
we started. I
you know
could do
why-
another hour on this shit. Are you fucking kidding me
You know
right now?
why?
I'm
You know.
pissed.
You know why
Now
the
I'm
crisis
upset.
because it's
Now
white
I'm,
people.
now
who
I'm
are
fucking
affected by
upset.
it.
The opioid crisis, motherfuckers, they created that shit. Let me tell you something. There's two things that created the crack epidemic and the opioid crisis. It was white people.
Right.
So let's forget the crack crisis. We should all know the history about that, right?
Yeah.
The opioid crisis. Do you know that when there was an actual issue with cocaine abuse in the world,
Yeah, man.
mostly
there's movies
European and
about it.
American. Do you know one of the drugs that they used to treat it was fucking heroin, which was created by fucking Bayer?
Mm.
Bayer created fucking heroin in the 1930s, dude.
You know,
And then it got out to the streets, just like fentanyl fucking has.
I'm sure y'all know it. I'm sure y'all are aware of this as well. The reason that there's such a discrepancy and the people affected with opioids is because of discrimination. Like they don't give black people because they don't think we have the pain. They prescribe them to white people more than black people.
That started with sickle cell.
Correct. So as a pain management doctor, obviously I deal a lot with
his
the
wheelhouse.
opioids. And the opioid crisis, one thing that's important that they don't really speak about, the majority of opioid overdoses still come from illicit sources. It's not
illicit.
Come from what?
illicit.
Illicit, like
so
illegal,
heroin,
not prescribed by us.
fentanyl
Not
coming
by
from
doctors.
outside. It's not really as much the prescriptions that doctors were writing. The numbers that we've been writing has been significantly reduced over the last 20 years.
Yep.
Right.
We get hammered in. So it's not, but they don't really tell you that. So they opioid crisis, this 17-year-old overdosed. But a lot of times, I say it's not, you're not getting the pills out of grandma's medicine cabinet.
Right.
Gotcha.
You got a pill for somebody on the street. You got
Yeah.
fentanyl and you died. So that's one thing that kind of overstates
What the fuck is fentanyl? So many people are dying, and it's laced with everything. It
It's
seems
super
like.
concentrated opioid. So but it's cheap. So if you could put a little bit into your fake pills,
Yeah, it's bad.
it
get
saves you
extra.
money because it's cheap, gets you a kick.
Right.
It's also
Because you're
readily
not-
absorbed.
You're not
It's
spending
readily
the money on
absorbed.
oxycodone. So, but if you do too much of it, you might get out of here. So that's the problem with it. I mean, the problem is it's illegal. All this
Yeah.
stuff is illicit stuff.
What they say, like
the random people like in their backyards get
Yes.
fentanyl. Like how do they fucking get
People are
fentanyl?
in their kitchens making pills.
Wow.
And they're cutting it up, they're powdering it up.
The formula isn't hard, or regular people
Yeah.
wouldn't be able to do it. It's
So
not a
that's what it
hard formula to replicate.
Mm.
And it's
But-
not like I don't even use fentanyl because honestly, in a pinch, it's not the strongest thing I need for immediate effect. I'd have to use a lot of it to get what I want. I use Dilaudid.
Yeah.
But fentanyl, these people use, the doses don't matter. What the doses I use for fentanyl, they're using 10 times that in the streets.
Right.
That's what'll kill you.
right.
Yeah.
That's it.
And they've done a lot more regulation with the physicians. Like we have databases now that I can see people like what prescriptions you've been getting from other doctors. So it kind of keeps you aware. You can see when somebody's potentially having an issue with the medications.
Yeah.
So like the doctors have done a much better job of regulating ourselves. But the thing is, like, we often are ones that they're coming for because they can't catch it coming across the border.
Yeah.
So it's like, all right, I can't catch, Chinese fentanyl, but I can catch this 70-year-old doctor who's sitting in, like, he's easy to find.
Yeah.
So we're kind of getting the scapegoat to some
Yeah.
extent
Gotcha.
because we're low hanging fruit.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But Florida's pretty good about making you check. Like, they make you check if somebody's been getting prescriptions, and that's all you can do, and it keeps you safe.
Florida at one point had like the most Florida opioid pill
They still do.
mills
Yeah.
They still do.
in the whole country.
Oh, they still do.
Yeah.
They still do. They
Crazy.
still do.
I mean, there's other places that are pretty bad too, like your West Virginia, some of those areas up there, the Appalachia. They have less people, but per capita they're getting it in. So it's just
What was your second question? Let me
What,
go on and go to the next segment.
so this is my last question. What is the best general medical advice you feel like you can offer most Americans, but especially Black Americans?
go see your primary care doctor twice a year and get that blood work done.
At least twice a year, get the blood work.
Beginning of the year, at end of the year, or like
6
Just
months
every
from the
6
last time you went.
If you start July, man,
If you go tomorrow,
December
then
to
you'll be
June,
going.
bro. Like, that's it.
What if you can't do that?
No,
What if you
follow-
don't have
no.
insurance?
Well, here in
Insurance doesn't matter.
Florida, you can request your own blood work. You don't even need a doctor. You can go to
You can just pay for
any-
blood work.
Yeah. So I
And
mean,
just find out the
yeah.
yeah, that's
exactly.
true. That's true.
And then if you know somebody, like sometimes people, hey, look at this doc. I'm like, I can tell you, all right, this is something funny. Like now you really need to go see somebody.
Yeah.
So you can go request your own blood work, CBC, BNP. Those just the
Those
most
are things.
basic blood
Yeah.
work.
Maybe get a urinalysis because you need to see if there's protein in your urine, protein and
Yeah.
sugar in your urine. That's it.
So
And so you use go to Quest or something like that for that.
Or
There's plenty of
Quest,
places like
Any
Lab
Lab
One,
now.
Lab
Any
Any
Lab.
Lab.
yeah,
Lab
they
One.
have
Oh,
like
yeah.
cash
Yeah,
prices.
right,
where you
right,
can
right.
get that done.
Yeah, it's gonna be
Yeah.
in between.
Yeah,
It's
just-
gonna be between
And also
150 and
another
300.
thing with those places, you can also go there and get those STI tests.
Right.
Yeah,
So if you're nervous about going to see your doctor, you're worried about your sexual health, you can go there and get that checked. So that's a whole nother thing that we're not going to get into today. But you can also you're too scared to talk to your doctor about something's burning, go get it checked there, and they'll tell you the information. Then you can go from there.
I'm so
Right
thankful
on.
I've never had anything burning.
Well,
Yeah.
lucky you.
Hey, listen, I done been a hoe out in these streets in my
Lucky
past
you.
life. I'm
You're
telling
making
you.
good. You're making risky but informed decisions.
Yes,
That's good.
yes,
That's it.
yes.
I've been there.
Pull out game is strong,
I've been
man.
there.
It's
That's not
strong.
even the problem. But whatever.
What
So
about you, sir?
I mean, my whole thing is this. All right, I'm gonna tell you something that I tell everybody. You're gonna be in pain regardless.
Pain is inevitable.
You can either
Pain is
sit on your
life.
couch and be in pain and deteriorate, or you can go to the gym and work on yourself and be in pain and not deteriorate. Either way, you're gonna hurt. So what I mean by that is this: you have to accept a certain level of comfortability.
for sure.
You have to get comfortable being uncomfortable.
Yeah.
Once you get like 40 years old, things go downhill. I got a
Bruh,
meniscus
tell-
tear. I got an
you tell
LCL
me.
tear. I got both shoulders are fucked up. I got surgery on this one. I got a rotator cuff and a labrum on this one. I still work out and I
Yeah,
still fight train because it is what it is. I have to accept that, or I can just live with that and go downhill.
for sure.
You don't want to just go downhill. You can age gracefully and be in pain, or you can age disgracefully and be in pain. And the
I agree.
disgracefully part is going to be real bad
Real
because you're going to
bad.
die sooner than you think.
Yeah,
That's all I can say.
I feel like I've seen a lot of people who retire and they just do nothing and they deteriorate at a much faster pace
Mhm.
than people who stay active. So to your point, I definitely agree. Remy, so really quick, I do want to play this clip and get your thoughts on this. So really quickly, let's go over to Method Weekly, which we normally do in the beginning, but we'll do it at the end and then we'll end it until no method lessons. So Method Weekly, go to Method
Alright.
Weekly. So I'm gonna play this clip. You can play it if you want to play it real quick. Really quick, and then I'm gonna ask y'all when you hear this clip, what's the first thought that comes to your mind? And then I have a second follow-up question. Let's see if I can get this thing open here. Please open. It's loading.
Is it?
Yes.
We're working on it. Technical difficulties.
All right, here we go.
Became a shell of myself.
What did that do to you?
I became a shell of myself. I didn't know who I was. I actually have a couple posts on my page where it's like I have a post that says I knew her body better than I knew my own.
Oh, her. I saw this.
I need to
listened
stop.
to it.
Oh, hold on. There you go.
Stop. Let that sit there. You said you knew another woman's body better than you knew your own.
Yes, several women. I knew several other women's bodies better than I knew my own. And I spent a lot of time, like I went in such a deep hole where I was like studying these women. I would go to their profiles and I would study their pages and like what they wear. I knew when they had met up. So I watched their videos of them having sex. So I would try to imitate that and recreate that in our relationships so that he could choose me and want me. And that is a low point to be. And I'm tearing up a little bit because that I hate that I even got to a point where that was a thing, but that it was just that. And so I knew several other women's bodies better than I knew my own. I completely lost myself. I became a shell of myself. I tried to imitate their hair, their actions, even sexual things that I had seen him doing with them. I tried to recreate that in our life when we were engaged. And
So that's Derek Jackson's estranged wife, Dania
Yep.
Jackson. So when I hear that
Recognize.
clip, what's the first thoughts that come to your mind about that clip?
From a
Hope that-
health perspective or just
Just
in
in
general?
Just in general.
Oh,
Just
I
in
would
general.
say I hope she gets the therapy and can work on her own like self-worth, self-value. And it's sad, but you know, I'm happy that she's no longer in that situation where she feels like she needs to do that. So
I
That's my
didn't,
first
I didn't
thought.
even know they got a divorce. To be honest with you, I did
Well,
not know that. So
I
Was she
mean,
divorced from?
he did that to her on one hand, and then she did that to herself by feeding into it. So, listen, you're party to your own trauma. Like people will do things to you that will traumatize you, right? They will. At some point,
True.
and right now it seems like she's waking up to that and trying to do
Mhm.
something about it, right? I mean, from a psychosocial standpoint, in terms of her health, like, it's like, I mean, she needs to be by herself and go deal with that,
mm,
you know, because psychologically, that ain't good for her or whoever the next dude she might be with. That's it. You know, I don't know.
therapy.
Yep,
Mhm.
therapy.
She said she was following women and watching them have sex.
she said she knew their bodies better than she knew her own body.
How was she watching
Meaning
them have
because she
sex?
probably heard
She found videos. Some of his videos of him with his.
It's actually very common.
how you
what,
how she like it,
him
how
with
he
other
like
women.
it.
Yeah.
You know, so it's like
what she says is a very common phenomenon. Actually, it's not uncommon. Actually,
I mean, yeah, dudes
anytime
love
someone
to keep
cheats,
their
you
videos.
start to wonder like, what is wrong with me? What's going on with me? Why don't he like me? Why
So
does
wait,
she like
who is
me?
she divorced from?
Derek Jackson,
Derek
the
Jackson,
life
that's right.
coach that everyone used to follow for a while.
Okay.
So, how do y'all think dealing with cheating affects someone's health? How do you think? What I say is, when I think dealing with someone that's cheating is going to lower your self-esteem, which can lead to like, I don't know. I'm an emotional eater,
Mhm.
right? So when I'm depressed or sad or whatnot,
there you go.
I
Yeah.
eat more,
Mhm.
I gain weight, I drink more, I can become depressed. And so I think like if you're dealing with someone in that situation, you can fall privy to a lot of other health.
You will lean into
Effects.
depression, and depression will affect everything around you, not just your health, but your job, your day-to-day life, just how you feel about yourself. That is a problem. But a lot of people go through it. Like you see statistics and it says, oh, 20 million Americans are depressed. It's more like probably 100. Like honestly, it's really probably more than like 5 times more than that. Like because you don't really know how people are processing the information from the world as they intake that information.
A lot of people don't know that they are depressed.
Correct.
Right.
Mhm.
So it's probably way more than you think, and that's all I can say. Like you're probably depressed, and you have to deal with that, and that's all I can say. Like you can't, and everybody deals with that differently. You know, therapy is a must, but that's all I can say.
How you think it affects you?
I mean, it's trauma. It's traumatic. You know. They said depression is one thing, but also it's trauma. You got PTSD. Your health is gonna go south. Like you're gonna have more cortisol release, so you're gonna be stressed. Your sleep is gonna be
You said
fully-
you said cortisol?
Cortisol.
Cortisol.
That's like
stress
hormone.
hormone. Sorry, that's a
It's a
stress,
stress
hormone.
hormone. Yeah.
Mhm.
So, it's going to affect everything. So it's like, that's like you're saying therapy. I mean, I can't really think of what else.
Mhm.
Time, but therapy and time, but it significantly impacts you, when it's rough.
What were your thoughts on the clip? Then, like, how do you think it affects you in it there?
I mean, they got divorced, right? That's you
It
got.
says estranged. I don't know if estranged means divorce.
They're definitely getting divorced.
Yeah,
You see how she was
they're
talking?
getting divorced.
She's
Doesn't
getting
mean they
divorced.
are divorced,
No,
right?
they're getting divorced. She's not about to go back to the.
We'll see.
She's had an
Oh,
awakening.
man.
It's a wrap. Shit.
We'll see.
So I think what I think of that clip, especially based on the information, that was Derek motherfucking Jackson, and I think
Why would you add the motherfucking?
because
Like he's the guy.
listen to me, no,
I'm
not
confused.
based,
At
not
one
based
point, he
on,
was the guy, though.
yeah,
At
not
one
based on
point,
me.
he was
I
the
didn't
social
choose
media
him
guy.
as the guy. He became the guy, and if the guy that you have is the guy, then you're gonna feel like you have to make sure that this man is satisfied because you have to keep the guy. So that's not weird to me. Everything she was doing is not weird to me. And I'm sorry she had to go through that. It fucking sucks. But if you want the guy, shit's gonna get weird.
Yeah.
I kind
So-
of feel like, based on how he portrayed himself,
Of course.
based on what
But
he
that was what
felt
we
like,
saw.
or what he
not what she
portrayed his
saw.
communication to be. He was communication to a whole lot of other hoes, but not his wife.
Yeah, for sure.
I think
That's all
Selena
I can
said-
say. Like, I mean, you know what I'm
Selena
saying?
said over 100 women, and I don't know what she's talking about. That's how many he cheated with. Is that?
I think
Anybody
so.
know?
I mean, whatever. You know,
right.
you know,
That's what the main camera.
you know.
Yeah.
All right, man. So, final thoughts. Where can, if you want to put the information out there, I mean, you have a. I know
Go
you have
see
a
your
different-
doctor.
I know you have a different
Go
practice.
see
You
your
don't want people
primary
showing up to where you are.
Well,
But for your business or practice, where can people find your information or reach out to you if they want to?
Yeah, it's
Are you taking new patients?
always.
Always.
Yeah,
I be referring people to him.
I'll get you in a week.
All right.
This man said a week.
in a
Hey,
week.
so I ain't got to show you my dick, right?
Please do not.
Okay, good. All right.
Please,
Man,
please stay
it's about
fully.
Not light skin here. We don't
Yeah.
need extra
What
light
about you?
skin.
Keep your
Do I,
pants
should I
on.
show you?
What?
If I come to the ER?
No.
Okay.
No, if
I
I
ain't gotta
see
show
your
nobody.
name
If
on the
if your
doc-
neck is hurting, please do not pull out your
All right.
penis.
Just got to make
Doc,
sure.
My neck is hurting, but what about my dick?
Just got to make sure.
What about my dick?
No, I'm going to refer that
If
out.
he
Go-
pulls his dick out, send him out.
Yeah,
Send him out the door.
yeah.
Like, what the fuck?
Get
Remy
this-
is wilding. Yes, she is correct.
Yeah, absolutely. Advanced Pain Care, APC, advancedpaincare.com.
Hey.
Office here in Tampa, office in Brandon. Like I said, just deal with all type of pain and rehab and things of that nature. So that's all.
Facts.
But if someone does come to the emergency room, could they ever ask for you personally?
They could.
Even if you're not there.
Because I've
Even if
had
you're
it.
not
I've
there.
actually had it. I've had it
Wait a
happen.
minute.
I've had it happen. I've had it happen. And when I'm not there, then I'm happy because listen. Okay, so for example, let's talk about a pain
Where's that
situation.
light skinned asshole doctor?
Right.
Yeah, where's that?
So
Yeah.
I like how he talks
people,
to me.
People come,
Yeah.
people come to the emergency department wanting pain meds all the time,
Mm.
and I know I'm not going to change who they are as a person.
Mm-hmm.
I'll just give it to them. Like, why would I keep them there for 3 hours while they
Yeah.
deal with nurses who are going to treat them bad, right? Because they're pain seeking,
yeah.
or whoever. I'm gonna give them what they want. I'm gonna send them out the door. Honestly, that's not the best way to do things, but at the same time, I'm not gonna change who they are in the near future. 1
Yeah,
year,
you
2
can't
year,
really
3 year,
help
5 year. They be having pain management docs. Go see them. But you obviously have increased pain, and I believe they have pain. It might not be pain to the degree that they're expressing, but I actually know that they're in pain because they have a pain management doc. So I just treat their pain and then send them out the door. Go see your pain management.
If I'm needing an emergency, where can I come and ask for Iman Spalding at?
If you'd like to share.
Okay. So you could go to I actually quit working in Brandon.
Okay.
I quit that place.
I heard that
Okay.
place is wild.
It's awful,
Yeah.
actually. It's
Shout out to
awful.
Gabby.
It's not really about what you get in the ED. It's everything else after that.
Guess you have
So-
no desire to ever go back there.
Correct.
Okay.
Correct.
Brandon Regional, get your shit together.
Correct. You want to see
This
me?
career suicide. Like,
If you want to see me, I'll be too far away for you to worry about it. Yeah. No, I'm good. I'm good. Like I'm good. Like no, I'm very much a nomad right now. Like I'm just I do what I do. You know what I'm saying?
Every time I go to the emergency room now, I'm like, hey, Iman.
Yeah, where that light skin
Where
Iman
Iman
at?
No,
Where Iman at?
No,
Where Iman?
don't.
Okay.
Until I start working at Tampa General, because I'm actually probably going to go back and do a critical care fellowship and call it a day.
Mom said, "Be careful."
Here we
Yeah.
go. Here we go.
Be careful.
Yeah,
Let's be careful. Let's just be careful.
You're
Let's
gonna
just
be
be
talking
careful.
crazy.
Let's just be
Put it out
careful.
there.
Let's be
Yeah.
careful.
We're on the same page, Mom. I've been trying to help out Sunday.
I've never-
Yeah, here we go.
I've never,
Alexis is always
Appreciate
looking
I've
out.
never been to Tampa General, but I hear Tampa General is one of the best hospitals in the
Tampa General's
nation.
great. Tampa General's great. Tampa General's great.
What is?
Yeah.
Tampa,
Tampa
General,
General.
is
Oh.
great.
If,
What,
Yeah.
what
if
you
you have
call it
some-
though?
if you have something that's like,
Like dire emergency,
go there.
Right.
go to Tampa General.
For sure.
That's the place to go in Tampa if
Nigga,
you want to have a
that's
dire
why,
emergency.
that's why I moved over here, because it's right there.
It's-
Yeah.
yeah. Like
Mm.
honestly, it's a great hospital for that stuff.
Mhm.
It is. It is.
That's
It's the
what's up,
only
man.
hospital that sees like the crazy stuff.
I used to live in Brandon, and I remember we had to go to the emergency room, and I was like, I'm not going to Brandon Regional. We going to fucking Tampa General. So
That unfortunately is that reputation, though. It is what it
Yeah.
is. Like it was long
they
before
probably
I got
don't have
there.
enough money. Like there's something.
That's actually not the
underneath it.
problem.
What's the
They're
problem?
HCA. They're the largest. HCA is a
So-
healthcare corporation. It's
Well,
a
be careful, Iman. Be careful.
Yeah.
Mama said, "Be careful."
no. I don't
That's not
work
what
for
you
them
talking
anymore. I don't
Yeah.
work for them
Oh, okay.
anymore. So it's
And we'll
what-
never work
it's
for them
the-
again after
That's
this
just
It's
Yeah.
the
podcast.
largest
Yeah.
healthcare corporation in America.
So what the fuck? What's the problem then? Like,
Don't even talk
Because
about
it's
it. Don't
based-
don't
It's
do
based
that.
on money.
know.
I'll just tell you.
St.
I kinda wanna
Joe's, Gabby, St. Joe's is also good.
Yeah, St. Joe's is good.
Yeah.
St. Joe's is good.
Yeah,
St. Joe's is
I
good.
see consoles
St.
there.
Joseph's
Yeah,
is good.
yeah.
St. Joe's
It's
is
in
good.
Riverview. It's
Okay.
good. St. Joe's in
Okay.
Riverview is good. It's good.
What's good in St. Pete though? I'm in St. Pete right now.
Ooh.
Well, they have a.
Might
They're
need to drive.
Democratic.
You're pretty close
Drive
to
up the
Brandon.
river, is that
You're
bad?
right across the bridge, though. You could go to Tampa General.
I could. I'm
Yeah.
gonna
So
fuck a 50-minute drive.
so St. Pete has a good hospital in Baptist. Okay, they have a good children's hospital. All right, they're run by an independent emergency management group, and they're good.
I see Morton's Plant all over Pinellas County.
Yeah, they're
man.
good. Oh,
Morton Plant
oh,
Hospital.
there's.
All right, man. So
You
listen.
could also come to Dr.
do not
Mulatto's.
go there. Come see him. Hey,
I'll
honestly,
patch you up, baby. I'll
There's a
patch you up.
conversation that could be had for longer and deeper conversations.
She meant daycare.
And
She meant
different-
daycare. She said
daycare.
daycare. But
Listen,
she
we
meant daycare.
are over 2
so
hours.
we are going to end this
This is
thing,
good, though.
man.
This
You
is
did this to
necessary.
yourselves.
Great
No, this is perfect. I'm glad we went over 2 hours because I feel like we got a lot of good
This
information.
is actually an episode that I'm not upset about going.
Thank y'all
over
for
2
coming
hours,
through,
man.
for real.
It's
Happy
actually
to.
been a really dope episode and great information.
Good time.
And I hope that the Method heads got some information as well. I hope you gentlemen enjoyed your time on the Method Podcast,
So please
man.
come
Go
back.
see your doctor.
We have to have
see
you
your
back
doctor
on
twice a
here.
year.
Absolutely.
Get your blood work and demand what you feel like you need. That's the takeaway. Like it is what it is. Like,
I'm showing Iman my dick after this podcast.
You're
We
not,
gonna talk
actually.
about it.
He's
I
pulling
got-
out
You're
right
not.
now.
You're not.
Pull out right now.
you can do that.
Wow.
If I punch you,
What you think about
you're
this?
gonna be mad. If
I'm
I
leaving.
punch, like if I break something, you're not gonna be happy.
Yeah. He wants to, he's just
right.
trying to be
We're
healthy.
doing
We're
that.
trying to be
He's trying to be
healthy.
healthy. Like, what you think about this? Like,
Hey, they say that the liquor make you talk quicker.
Is that what happens?
We say M is for,
Mostly.
E is for,
Everybody
T is for,
talking.
H is for,
Honestly.
O is for,
Over.
D is for.
Come on, everybody know this one.
Until
Drinks.
next week, man. We appreciate you guys, man.
all right.
See y'all next week. Holla.
All right, now. Yo, wow.